Welcome to another Games Talk Live podcast. I appreciate everybody coming here and listening to us again another week. And we have a lot of news to cover. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but we've got quite a bit to talk about for sure. There's a lot going on, especially in the land of Xbox. We got more nuggets today to go through, and it's going to be a good one because we have both Hargeet, of course. Hargeet is here with me, and Holly is going to be our guest tonight. Hargeet, what have you been up to, my friend? How have you been?
Well, unfortunately, more family fun going on. So, had some family emergency stuff to deal with for the last couple of days. So I've been kind of sparingly seeing the news. But we're not going to let PlayStation get off the hook either because they've had a massive L as well. So yes, Xbox has had an L, but I don't know which one's worse. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I've seen raised by even some PlayStation fans have said the same thing.
Some? Oh my goodness, dude! I don't think I've ever seen this level of pushback on what PlayStation is.
Well,
doing.
no, I'm saying I've literally seen some of them say, despite all these layoffs coming from Microsoft, they're still more mad about the physical disc thing. And I mean, I get it. It's crazy, but we're going to get through it. But first, let me introduce, of course, Holly. Holly, welcome back to another episode of GTL.
Hello. Hi, everyone. You know what I think is always the funniest thing about when Hargeet comes in and he's like, the PlayStation fanboys are losing it, like in this topic, for example, is that he's literally on no social media, but yet knows entirely what's going on. And I'm always like, how? Like,
blame no, it's Alex. He's so entertaining that I have to watch, and all he does is pour fuel on their madness. And so I get to see a lot of it. And I'm like, wow, okay, no, this time they really are going after PlayStation. That's crazy. But yeah, that's a lot of that. I just watch videos from people that go after them.
Yeah, the disc topic is probably like, you could easily spend an entire show just on the physical like topic on its own.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Yeah. It was
but
crazy.
not with me and Hargeet. Well, you sort of talked to Hargeet about it.
Yeah, it's
right.
But
anyway,
Holly, what have you been up to this week? What have you been playing? Besides your PC stuff going on, we can see you have that new
PC builder. Well, I didn't actually build this, but I built the setup over again from scratch with two PCs. It's a real doing two PCs and having them set up independently and streaming to each other to stream out. I don't recommend doing that. It's like a 2 out of 10 experience because it is difficult AF. But I did it. I did it with minimal help. Still working out some kinks a little bit here and there. But I've got my burnt peanut PC, which I won, which is a Starforge. And then that's my old PC that I had up here, which is old. It's a 4080. So it's okay, right?
It's old, yeah. 4080, so old.
Yeah,
such an archaic GPU.
I don't think we talked about this because it came out Wednesday.
We didn't talk about the physical discs.
That's
great. You know what it was?
The first. You probably talked about it on the Saturday show.
We talked about it Saturday, and it's just burnt in my brain.
Oh.
And then I talked about it again Sunday on ILP. That's why, Hargeet, because you were there. So that's why I associated with talking to you about it.
Yeah. We
definitely.
Oh, well then
we definitely are going to cover that. Physical discs.
Okay.
Sony, we have to talk about it.
I've been playing GTA 5 on stream. If anybody's interested in watching me play GTA for the first time ever, any GTA, I am streaming GTA 5. I'm 17% of the way through the story. And then also, I just on Sunday night finished playing Doom all the way through for a second time in preparation of today. So
Doom the Dark Ages.
Yes.
Nice,
I fucking love that game. It is the best Doom.
Yeah, you like that one?
Of all. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about GTA? It's your first time playing GTA. What'd you think?
I'm 17% through. It's okay.
some idea.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm at a point, and it might just be because I'm not far enough yet, right? And I also was like practically 2 weeks in between my first session and my second session. But I met Trevor last Saturday, like on Saturday, I met Trevor and played through his whole intro. And now Trevor and Michael and Franklin are all in Los Santos. So just at the part where they've all arrived, they're all there. Okay. So it's still kind of early, right?
Yeah, it's early days for sure. It's a great game. Yeah, you'll have
you
fun.
Played Red Dead's, or you only played?
Oh, Red Dead 2 is like top 3 games of all time. It's
okay. So
that's that's my friend right there. That's what I like to hear. Yeah. Hear that, Zocker? Suck it, Red Dead 2, baby.
It's
the controls aside. I think Red Dead had the more compelling story to me. I think Red Dead was better. But GTA it's good. It's fun. But yeah, RDR, especially 2, is really. I mean, they're both really, really, really good. They're both really. Really good.
I like the second one over the first one.
Yeah, sitting that scene where you sit down with the nun and have that conversation at the end, brilliant.
Dude, you know how much I
Zocker, you know nothing because you only played a few hours of that game and you did not finish it. So I don't want to hear anything from you.
Zocker is a toddler.
You're a toddler.
I do you know the amount
I'm surprised, by the way, because normally Zocker and I have very similar tastes, and I'm actually surprised that he doesn't like
50 hours RDR2. Isn't enough, Zocker. That's a few hours in Red Dead terms.
No, 50 hours is a lot, and it must be something about it that you
50 hours. I highly doubt that.
But
yeah, if it didn't click for you, it didn't click for you.
If you're in here, why not just come over and like talk? Like you can just jump in if you want.
Yeah. I have a plan. Yes. Dutch had a plan. Anyways, I've been playing a lot of PoE2 lately. So, my gosh, like, dude, I don't want to bore anybody, but the class, or it's not even a new class. It's a class that's been there, Spirit Walker, but you're able to do stuff now with like minions. Like you can tame bosses and have them be your minions, kind of like a necromancer with, the skeletons and stuff. But these are giant bosses, and I've got this giant ape that's just running around, just knocking the crap out of things. And I've got other animals too, so I'm going like this zoo route where I'm just like, I don't have to do anything. I just walk around and tell my pets what to do, and they're just like destroying everything on the screen. I can't tell you how much fun it is. It's a blast. I'm loving this game. PoE2 and Diablo are my 2 games that I'm going to jump back and forth to in between bigger games. Like, because they are forever games. Once you pay that initial fee of getting into these 2 games, you have games for life. Like, you just get into the next season and all that. Just awesome games. I love it so much. And the official PoE2 will be out, I think, in August. I think it's finally dropping because it's an early access. It's been early access for years now. I've been playing it, but wow, so much fun. Anyways, with that said, please hit the like button. I hardly ever ask you guys. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, of course, you could always support just by hitting that like button, but I also have dollar memberships and things like that down below. If you guys want to support, feel free. If you don't, just listen in and have fun. We are going to get into these topics because we got a lot to talk about. Now that I figured out that on this show, we haven't discussed what Sony did last week, which I think is pretty darn impactful to the gaming industry. They announced that they are not going to make any more games on physical disc starting January 1st of 2028. Hargeet, I did not talk to you about this, on this show. So let me know what you thought of when you heard this. Like, what was your first initial impression? How do you feel now, almost a week later?
Almost a week later. Yeah. Look, it's not like it was totally shocking that this is a direction they're going. The thing that surprised me is that they're just doing it in the middle of a generation. I could totally see, let's say Helix on the other side comes out and says, hey, we're doing digital only from now on. Okay. You can then choose to say, I want to engage in that or not. Right. Because if you bought a Series X, you have a disk drive, you had the assumption going in I could buy physical games, right? You bought a PS5. You had two options. You had the digital only, or you had the one with the disc drive. Say you bought the disc drive, then like, don't you expect for the rest of that generation that you would just continue to be able to use that disc drive? It does seem a little odd to me that they're just cutting it off in the middle of a gen. Like, that is a kind of odd situation. I don't know that I would have done that. It creates a bigger problem for them. Like, there are still people who are buying consoles. Now, are they picking up the one with the drive? I don't know. But if you buy like the Pro, it doesn't come with one, but you can buy the accessory. Are they not wanting to sell that accessory anymore? Like, what is it that, like, they basically told the market, we're not going this direction anymore. Don't even bother. Right. So what is their plan for the next year? Are they going to try to keep selling this thing or what? It just seems very odd. You should just say, like this gen, it just stays the way it is. We're not going to mess with it, and then move on to the next gen and make your change if you want to. What they didn't seem to do is estimate how many people are going to get pissed off about it. And apparently there was some leak, recently, I think, right, that they were surprised, caught off guard that there was this much pushback. It's too late. Apparently they can't do anything about it, but it's like, well, why didn't you know that? Right. And, people like took a lot of the numbers and, this is one of the things I brought up in ILP and just ran with it, 85-15. And I'm like, well, but that's not actually accurate. That's just total revenue earned. That includes digital only games. That includes, microtransactions, all that stuff. Right. So if you wanted to actually do an analysis of it, you have to look at how much, they sold percentage wise for a game that was available physical and then also digital, right? So how much was that percentage breakdown? And it turns out it's actually a higher percent when it comes to that. So you can get up to 30, sometimes even 40%. And then regionally, it's different, right? In certain regions, digital is more preferred. In certain regions, physical is far more preferred. Then there's also just a whole slew of things that happen afterwards. But my initial feeling was, okay, I'm not surprised that they're going in this direction. I'm just surprised they're cutting off a current install base that had the expectation. And you're taking that away at the same time as you're shutting down the stores for your PlayStation 3 and Vita. And then not a month before, they're pulling out 500 plus movies that you had bought, you no longer have access to, right? You're literally putting a nice thing in front of your consumers of what they can expect going forward, right? You're going to have a digital walled off, store that you control entirely, can lock off whatever you want at any time, take away purchases from people at any time, lock their account at any time, and they're just SOL. Whereas with a physical, at least you can say, I still have that. I can take my box, not plug it into any network, and throw my disc in and play, right? That's tougher to do these days. I understand, because a lot of the content isn't on the disc and you still have to download. Fair enough. But I still have the opportunity to say, take this disc, lend to a friend. Their own messaging that they had with the PS4, right? Here's how I share a game. Cool. Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
I found that very amusing, but it is kind of annoying that this is kind of the direction when there is a sizable chunk of people that are expecting to be able to buy a physical disc. Like when I had a PlayStation, most of the games I played on there, I bought physical because I was going to trade them in. Right. It had no value to me after they're one and done games. So it had no value after that for me. I'm like, fine, here, take your disc and give me the next game. Right. And I might as well get some value back. So that was how I engaged with PlayStation. A lot of this used market is going to be a problem, right? Because we are very privileged, right? You have two massive PCs showing up right there. We're very privileged to have the ability to do all that. A lot of people in the world don't have that kind of money. For them, a PS2, PS3, PS4, that's totally fine. An old Nintendo GameCube or SNES, they're looking for anything they can play because that's all they can afford. For that like secondary market is very important, and that includes the games. How are they supposed to get that then, right? Like if you're expecting them to spend $50 on a game, $70 on a game after 10 years, like it's just not going to happen. This is why that secondary market's so important. That's how they get it. They'll like buy like 5 games for like $10 because that's how they can afford to play. That's the way it is. And if you take that away, that's just a whole set of gamers that will never be a part of your enthusiastic fan base. I don't think that's a good thing. there is a give and take. I understand there's economics to that, but there's also realities of your fan base is just turning on you because of it, and there's good reason for it. So it is interesting. So my like initial thought was like, yeah, okay, this is obvious. This is, this is the direction people are going to expect things to go. That doesn't make it the right direction. I don't know if it's a good direction. I would just work out a path, just like Xbox worked out a path on these studios, and not, hey, we're going to not have them anymore, but we're also not going to kill them. Let's find a path where there's a happy medium, where it's like, okay, we won't necessarily do it ourselves, but we can work a plan where somebody else can, on our behalf, make these physically available to you. And then that process still exists, right? Something that can work that path. But I don't know. It's just, so that was my initial gut, was like, not like totally unexpected, but very odd you would do it in the middle of a generation and not just at the beginning of the next generation. So that was kind of weird to me. But yeah.
No, I think they're just setting it up for next generation. I think they're setting up, possibly, if they do come out with their PS6 in 2028, I think they're just letting you know, hey, we're not going to make a disk drive for this thing. So going forward, you're done. Holly, how do you feel about this? No discs.
Well, first of all, I think you're 110% right, is that January 2028, no disc should signal to you when they're expecting to launch the next PlayStation. I guess, it's hard for me to get angry about this in the general sense, because I've been digital for a long time, because I personally don't want all those disc boxes around my house. Right. And the other thing that I've always been leery of is, like, I've had discs break, or I've had disc drives go bad, or I've had a scratch on something. Right. And then you have to buy the whole damn thing all over again. Right. Even if you get it cheap somewhere, it's still another time you have to purchase it. So for me, a long time ago, I just decided digital was my preferred way of getting games. And I know some people use the argument of, like, well, you could get cheaper games a lot of times physically, but yes and no. Like, if you go out and you search Loaded or some of these other sites, a lot of times you can get the digital version just as economical as you can a physical. And you're guaranteed that a used disc isn't going to have any issues, right? But it's really, I am a little surprised at the amount of backlash that they're still getting for this. I feel like most people have been resigned or happy, one way or the other, to go digital for a while now. And I think both of the consoles have sort of been signaling that this is the way that they're going, and consumers, and they're going that way because consumers are going that way, right? It's not like they're forcing everybody to this. It's a simplistic ease. Just even the fact that you don't have to get up and change a disc out every time, right? Or crap, where did I put that disc? It got lost somewhere, or your kid ran off with it, or whatever, right? But the amount of outrage with it, I think some is fake outrage. People who like to, get upset and bandwagon. But I do feel for people who enjoy physical media, because that's their choice, right? They want to have that. And I don't necessarily discount either platform deciding that they don't want to print discs anymore. But I think it's too late. Sorry. I think it's too late in this generation to say, by the way, we're not doing this anymore in a year. And then, like, maybe not even provide an external disk drive for people to have on the next console, right? I don't know. They haven't said that. But if you, like, for you to not even have a way to play old games except to go find an old console somewhere, right? That's a huge problem, right? People should be able to continue playing their physical discs. So I think the market conditions and people, their buying habits have dictated that this is the way it's gonna go. And it's unfortunate that some people are, kind of losing their preferred choice or their preferred way to do things. So it's like one of those things where it's like I don't really feel fair speaking on it because I don't care. It doesn't affect me, but it doesn't mean that I don't feel for people who this is the thing that they like to do. However, it's not, I don't really feel like the argument is centered around the right thing. You shouldn't really necessarily be centered around the disc itself. You should be more centered around the DRM, right? And your actual rights to owning a copy of a game. Like if you really truly want to own a copy of a game for now and forever, you have to go to places like GOG, which by the way has a mega deep sale on right now. You have to go to places like GOG, download it, store it on a hard drive. And that's like the only way that you're truly going to have access to your games in the future. Because these discs don't have the game on them. And even if they do, there's usually a
lot of them do.
Check-in.
A lot of them still do. There's some games that don't do that.
And there's day one
not
patches.
All of them.
There's a lot of day one patches to games. There's a lot of things that
I hear that, but here's some pushback I'm going to give on this situation. Sure. I am pretty much all digital. And I'm in kind of the same boat you're in, Holly, where it's like, yeah, it doesn't really affect me, but it did it one time. And I used to trade in games so I can get another game, because I couldn't afford it at the time. And there's still people that are not buying physical just out of preference, but out of necessity. There's a lot of people who can't buy a brand new game for $70. So they wait and they buy it used, for $50 or, even cheaper. And for those people, I feel for, because I was in that position and I know that at any time I could be in that position again at one, anything can happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think about that situation. Also the fact that, a lot of these games that you have that you can play physically and you don't need to connect and check in and stuff, you have that preservation there. And that's a big deal. And I understand the whole thing with digital rights too. Like that should be an issue that's pushed, and we should have digital ownership, because if you don't have ownership of something you're spending $70 on, then what do we have then? It's basically anything that they could take away and turn off at any time. And even Steam tells you that they could do this to any of your games right before you purchase it. Mm-hmm. It'll warn you that, hey, this is just a digital license. We can take this away at any time.
Steam has some protections, tell you that. Though. But they have some
protections. No. I'm just saying, no. And they won't even tell you what happens if Steam goes away. They legit have not said what would happen. But my assumption is the games would go away. GOG is the only one that actually lets you download the files. GOG is the only one that does that. But going back to the physical thing, because I think that's really important. Right now, if you look it up, there's more than 100 million people worldwide that still use physical games. They still buy it. Some out of preference, some out of necessity. I think that a lot of people that are speaking up for them, including myself, it's not fake outrage. It's not fake concern.
I'm not saying everybody.
No. I know what you mean. Like there's some people that really are like over the top and like, I'm not buying a PS6, and they're a big PlayStation guy, right? Mm-hmm. We know they're buying a PS6. That's kind of fake. But when it comes down to it, I think that a lot of us should still advocate for keeping physical discs, because they're important, not only to the people that need them out of necessity, but also for options. It's always good to have more options out there, because if I don't want to spend $70, $80 on a game, I was buying PlayStation 5 games cheaper at the store physically, because they're cheaper, because they want to control the storefronts. They want to control that price.
PlayStation for sure. PlayStation is a bigger problem than anybody else.
All these companies want to go the digital route for control. Okay, and I mean that's an obvious
cost savings.
the cost savings is there for sure, but also control to control the price, dictate this and that. And they're the market leader.
And no secondhand
so
market.
make it and no secondhand market. So
Yeah.
and so you can't even trade the game either or lend it to a friend. This is a one-time digital code.
Share.
Well, I think eventually they're going to do away with game sharing.
I don't think so.
I personally think that's a possibility.
Steam won't get rid of it, so I don't think they'll get rid of it. And by the way, Steam has just to clarify on the Steam thing.
Go ahead.
They do have a requirement that publishers, if they remove the game from the store, that they always have accessibility for the owner to be able to download the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, like, if Steam themselves were to go away,
sure.
Yeah, you're kind of up shit creek. But yeah, physical is very important, and I don't want to minimize that. Like, there's a lot of people out there that need, or that's the only way they buy games, and I get that. Like, that's something that I think that all gamers should kind of just stand up for in a way. But yeah, I'm all digital now. Like, I rarely ever buy a disc. And it's basically out of just convenience, to be honest. Like, as lazy as that sounds, that's what it's about. It's not really about anything else. Unless I find it cheaper physically, I would buy it that way. If I could do it on PC, I would do it that way if it was cheaper. But there is no physical on PC.
I think there's a secondary knock-on effect that people really aren't talking so much about with this too, and it's the fact that it's going to affect, like, this is going to affect a lot of other third-party companies that do a lot of manufacturing and have, like, Frame a Game and, all of those others. Like, this has a lot of trickle-down effects to other companies that is going to
100%.
severely affect them.
Yes.
So
I mean, like, this employees, so many, like GameStops, all this, they're out of business. Like, what are they going to do? I mean, they started selling cell phones and stuff in some of these GameStops, like, because they were already being hurt by the industry.
They sell, like, the Pokemon cards and things like that. So
I guess they could sell digital code, but come on.
That's also a possibility as well. But yeah, there's another thing like that came out as well. I don't know if this is like officially. I don't think it is official. I think it's rumor, but that Xbox was looking at a disc to digital program, and that disc to digital program wasn't a replacement. It was hey, if you want the benefits of digital, because you can do play anywhere and all that, right? Cloud access, we'll let you take your disc and get a digital license, as long as you don't put that disc in somebody else's box and then it transfers to them. So that sounds really cool, actually, right? Because that way you get the benefits of both. You want to get it cheaper, you can get it bargain bin for $20 for the game or something like that. Fine, buy your disc. And now you want the convenience factor of, hey, I also want to be able to play anywhere, take it to my ROG, take it to my PC. Sure, want to play in the cloud? No problem. So we'll give you the access to allow it to get digital license as well. And as long as that disc doesn't go to somebody else and then they put it in their system and now it gets associated with their account, you have the digital license available to you. That sounds pretty cool. That's like the opposite of this, where you're it
kind of gives you that. It gives you like that dual entitlement thing. Like you have more entitlement over the game.
I fully plan on taking the rest of the discs that I already had, like the old ones from like early Xbox One and stuff, inserting them, getting the digital thing, and then just breaking the disc and tossing it.
Wow. Don't break it. Turn it in. Like, let somebody else buy it.
No, because then I won't have the game anymore.
It would still be licensed to your disc. So,
really?
But you would get a digital benefit. Yeah. So it's a very cool feature where it's built. So
wait. You'd still be able to lend it and give it away. I mean, the physical.
Once it goes in somebody else's machine, it's licensed to them then.
The license goes to them.
So then I kind of don't like that then, because
why?
Then you can't sell it, or you can't give it away.
No, you can sell it. That's the beauty, right? You are selling the game along with its digital license.
Wait. She said she would break the disc. Like,
so that it would stay on my account, right?
Yeah, it would stay on her account permanently.
On a single player game, like,
on any game that's on a disc.
On any game that
I would get a digital. Basically get a digital license, and then I would just pop the disc.
Oh,
so
but
nobody else
can you give it away after you did that though? Can you still give it away?
No, because then if somebody else. Yeah, if somebody else.
Well, I don't like that. Then they're basically taking away.
No,
no.
You have a disc. You play the game. If you give it to somebody else, you don't have a disc to play the game. It's the same thing.
No.
You shouldn't be able to keep a digital license and give the disc away, because that's 2 copies of the same game in one. That's not fair.
If you were done with the game, is what I'm saying. Like, you can't sell that.
Well, yeah, I want to keep the games in my library, is what I'm saying.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying.
Sell the game. You can sell the disc.
Yeah,
once you
sell the disc, your library.
You lose the digital license as well.
Just the digital license is gone.
Yeah,
correct. But they can play
the. They're giving you as long as you have the physical disc. And
I get that. Then I get that.
You get the digital license as well. Right.
But if you I would definitely give it away.
Lend it to somebody, no problem. They will take your digital license.
That was my thing, because she said she would break the disc, and I'm like, why break it?
Magnum,
give it to somebody else.
It's not stupid, because I don't want all those old boxes in my house.
Give it away. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Just give it away.
The game, then I want the game.
I just don't want that's what I don't get. Then you lose the game. So somebody else can't access the game.
Yes, because it's in my digital library. Then.
Oh, you have to get rid of it out of your digital library for somebody else to play it. That's what you're saying.
No, you don't. It'll take it away from you. It'll take it away from you. Right?
Okay.
So I have a physical
game. It goes away. It goes away. You can't keep it, and like I get it.
Yeah,
now.
if I lend this to you, and if I had digitally said, okay, I want the digital version, it'll just take it
away.
You put it in your system.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. I was confused by the whole physical thing, breaking the disc. It just confused me. I was like, why would you break the disc?
Digital library, then absolutely you wouldn't do that. You give it away, you do whatever. But I want to keep the digital version, and
if you want to keep it,
with the game, right?
But I would always hold on to it just in case I wanted to sell it or give it away. I didn't want it no more. Like, because a lot of the games I don't keep anyway. Like, once I'm done with it, I just sell it.
Yeah, but
that was my thing. That's why I thought it was weird, because, I thought you were.
That's the flexibility. I like that. So I'm hoping that's an indication of they're not getting rid of it. Plus, they might be just looking at, hopefully, because they've been good about this, reading the room and seeing the absolute trash fire that's happening to freaking PlayStation because of this, and saying, we can't do that.
And in what world?
Whatever our plans, the plans change.
What world does this like minor announcement of going all digital trump literally everything else that Xbox has been rumored to do in the last 2 weeks? And even what actually happened, right? Like, but it did. It's more of a big deal. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's okay. So I will say this.
Everybody's
this is
mad
not
at me about breaking the disc.
Well, it wasn't a boomer moment, like maybe slightly a boomer moment, but it was also the fact that she was breaking the disc that just twisted my mind. Like, why wouldn't you keep it to sell it or give it away to somebody who wants it?
To steal the copy and me not have my digital copy anymore.
Now, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. But the thing is, look, like, I hate, I have to watch my words because I don't want to upset anybody, because I think the layoffs are awful, freaking awful. Like, it goes without saying. People like acting like, oh, you're being freaking disingenuous, or you're just, you're lying about feeling for people. Hey, I was there just a few years ago when my company shut down. Nearly 1,000 people just let go, just gone after 20 years. It was awful. So I totally freaking understand. But what I'm going to say here is that PlayStation getting rid of physical discs, I think, will have more impact to gamers than what's going on with Microsoft this week. That's what I'm saying.
And I think
it'll have bigger impact.
If Xbox doesn't follow suit, I think PlayStation is going to be in trouble, and they know that. I think like everything that happens on their side depends on what Xbox does. If Xbox follows suit, then PlayStation has no reason to not continue the path they're on. But if Xbox says, nope, we're keeping physical discs. Y'all can come over here. And it actually makes a marginal, even small impact on the market share. They're going to be annoyed at PlayStation. They're going to have to answer that, right? So, so if there's like a 5% market share thing, they're going to be like, whoa, we need to get that back.
What can they do? They've already switched one of their major plants to a micro lens plant.
Sony's done. They'll take the hit and keep moving.
They repurposed it.
They don't care.
They could go to the market. Remember, they're not the only ones making these things, right? They are definitely one of the bigger ones making
and spend more money, Hargeet. They'd spend even more money.
But you don't see the corollary to that is you say, you want the physical, no problem. It's $10 extra, and you pay for it, consumer.
Well,
but that placates both sides. It says, okay, you have the
option. That's disingenuous, though, because I've been fighting for years that we shouldn't be paying the same as physical discs on digital games. It should have been different.
You would get that. Physical would be more expensive.
Yeah, I know, but it should have been there already. We should have already had a discount on digital games.
Just not the way you want.
Jeez, that's crazy. That's crazy.
They could definitely keep printing discs because what they said was games that were made before this official switch can still get reprints.
Yep.
So it's not like they have no absolute mechanism to print discs anymore. They just want to phase it all out and have it be done with it. And
all these companies do. I believe it. I think all of them do. But make no mistake, PlayStation did it first, guys. Remember that. PlayStation, because everybody likes to rewrite history. They always like to rewrite history. People have amnesia and they talk about how Xbox did this and they did that. They started this. Remember, PlayStation got rid of physical discs first.
You want to hear something really funny? I saw on Twitter today that MBG said, Xbox, you make a console with a disc drive in it and I'll be there day one next gen.
Yeah, dude, I've seen several PlayStation guys say that. Yeah, MBG. I've seen several guys say that. Yeah,
I don't know if and it's up to them, of course, but I don't know if I would say that they should force the disc drive on the consumer, but like the PlayStation 5 Pro, offer the accessory. If people want it, give it to them.
I think it'll be on both. I think they're both not coming with a disc drive, and they'll both have a plug-in.
I don't think PlayStation 6 will. If they're really going to continue with this, I don't think they're going to have a disc drive.
Yeah, I think they're going to get rid of the disc drive altogether.
With Xbox, I think they want to go this route as well, but because Asha's smart, Asha's really smart, and she does read the room, she might be like, you know what? I know we don't have a disc drive in the Helix, but let's have an add-on.
Yep.
I can see that possibly happening.
And
it would be smart. It would be really smart.
Yep.
So
I would. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, look, what I honestly, truly wish for Sony people, and what I really think should have happened is that if you're gonna do this transition, they should have announced that in the first year or two of the PS5 generation to give people plenty of time to understand that the next console will not have a drive option. You do it at the end. And you've got this, right? Because people have bought discs for the last 6 years, thinking that next gen I'll just pop this disc into the next one. And if you don't give them a long enough lead time, then you're not giving them a fair chance to build the library that they want to keep moving forward. So, and because of that, because they waited so long, the right thing to do by your consumers and say, look, we're done in 28. But we'll provide an optional attachable disk drive for the PS6, and that's it. We're not doing it after that. We're done.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't think they're going to do that. RSJ Fan 05, thank you. He said this would be the easiest layup for Xbox. It really would. It really would.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even get this one. Has 2 all digital SKUs. PlayStation has 3. What's your point? The Series S is not outselling the X. It's been switched over for a while now. I don't know what the point of this is.
And the PS5 digitals have been outselling the PS5 with the disc.
PS5 digital, PS5 Slim, and PS5 Pro.
PS5 Pro,
all digital only SKUs.
Yeah.
What so,
I don't get it. So let me go through some of these really quick. Let's go with this one. G Mania, thank you for the 20. It says Pure Xbox said Xbox is rethinking Helix having a disk drive. I think that's confirmed that it's not confirmed yet, but I don't think it is, just based on like what Jez has been saying. Jez has legit sources, and he's been saying this. I can say that much. If it has one or supports physical in the future, I'll buy one no matter what it costs. Just found the whole Yakuza series physical for Xbox and loving it. That's awesome. But yeah, they could do a disk drive you can buy to add on to the Helix. That's something that anybody could do. Web Dave, thank you for 10 months, by the way. Go ahead, Holly.
Honestly, for everyone here, it would be much better if it was a detachable drive as well, because I know somebody who's gone through like 2 or 3 Series X's because the optical drive just shits the bed. The disk drives that they are using in those are cheap, or there's a software incompatibility or something, right?
She says it's trash. Series X, garbage. That's what she just said.
It's not what I said, but it would be much better if you have the detachable one, because if it breaks, it's much cheaper and easier to just
buy,
yeah.
For sure. Remember when Xbox back in the day, the 360, they had the HD DVD drives? Mm-hmm. Remember, I had one of those when they were competing with Blu-ray. Yeah, I had one of those, and I remember it was competing against Blu-ray, and I had a Blu-ray player too. I bought a JVC Blu-ray player.
Get both, right? And you're like, okay,
but it was literally the JVC Blu-ray player was literally almost $1,000 back then, and it was just a bare bones JVC.
Yeah, the only
player.
way to get in was PS3, because like it was so expensive.
Dude.
But eventually, it got better. So then I was able to buy an actual Blu-ray player, but like,
I bought discs.
Like $400 for the PS3.
I know, but I bought discs for both, so I had movies on both because I didn't know which one was going to win.
Pushed it all up to Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray, but no, I had both.
So I remember
I had HD DVDs and I had Blu-rays, and
and I remember giving the HD DVD player to my dad. I was like, "Hey, you can have this. I know you still have your Betamax and your VHS." Here's something else that's going the way of the dodo, HD DVD. But yeah, he watched all the movies. He loved it. Anyways, thank you, G-Mania, for the 5. They said, when buying physical, check, does it play to see if a game is on disc before you buy? When you buy physical, does it check to see if you play, if the game is on the disc before you buy? I think he's asking if the game is, like, can you check to see if the game is on the disc before you buy? Like, some of these games you have to actually like download part of the game or whatever just to play the damn game. I think that's what he means.
Is there any like thing online that tells
you
to
check
the game is actually on the disc and not something you have to download? Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
Sure there's probably something. There's probably something that you can look up.
Keeps track of that, but yeah, unfortunately, it's not as clear cut. You always have to find somebody who has the game and say, all right, disconnect your internet, plop it in, and see if it plays.
And by the way, Swaggy C 3068, I see your super chat, and I'm going to get to it when we talk about that topic, because I think it's more, it belongs in a different topic for sure, and we will get to that. So I appreciate you. So anyways, so physical discs, they're on the way out. Hopefully Xbox. Oh, I didn't see this one. No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
Web Dave, $1.99 says an add-on to play backwards compatible disc is a win. 100% it would be. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
So yeah, hopefully Xbox, Asha, I know you're probably not listening to this, but if you do, read the room. Disk drive on the side. Do not announce getting rid of physical discs, even if this wasn't in the plan. Make it not the plan anymore. The plan was the plan until it wasn't.
I would go further and put out we have no current plan to discontinue physical disc releases. I would go that far. Why not throw it in their face? Just like they did to you.
Yep. Wow. G-Man here once says, thank you for the 5, says, there is a website. It's called Does It Play? And you type in the game and it tells you. That's awesome.
Awesome. Very cool.
That's awesome. So yeah, that's perfect. That's really cool. Thank you for letting us know that. But yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, like, I think it would be really cool if they did something like that, because one of the things that, my good friend Zocker out there on Friendly Fire Podcast, Saturdays on the Septic Sauce channel, by the way, he said the other day that if they did something like that, it would be another kind of watershed moment. And it would be an impactful moment for them, because remember, this is what really did in Xbox at the beginning of last generation. It was that whole, this is how you, exchange a game or whatever with a friend. And they did that whole thing. If they did that, oh my gosh, it would be freaking hilarious, but it would also sell a lot of consoles. People would move to Xbox for physical games. There would be a lot of people, because out of necessity, like I told you, there's a lot of people, millions still doing it out of necessity. And then there's millions out of preference. That's a lot of gamers out there. It's a lot of gamers who are still playing on physical. So anyways, I think that would be good. But let's move on, because we're 47 minutes in and we've been talking about nothing but Sony. Let's talk a bit about Xbox. Now, recently we just had Xbox come out and give us the Purge news, if you will. Everybody was expecting, I don't know what you two were expecting, but when I'm hearing stuff, all these rumors, all the FUD that was going on online, all I kept hearing was, it's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. So many studio closures. It's going to be awful. Canceled games. And I'm sitting there expecting that. But what we got was quite a bit different. Now, the layoffs have been rough. 3,200 layoffs overall for the next fiscal year for Xbox. 1,600 as of yesterday, I believe. And that's a lot. It's a lot of layoffs. A lot of gutting of some studios. IdTech, we heard last night, got 50% of them were pretty much gutted. They're no longer there. So they went from a studio of about 190 to, half that now. So we're looking at a situation where the one thing I'll say, what? I think the best thing to do is I'm going to wait until Hargeet is back, and I'm going to have Hargeet read a bit of that email, and we can go through it, because there's a lot there to really dive into, Hargeet. But yeah.
And I don't know if we have any specifics on the 3,200. I'm just curious if part of it was the studios that were let go or whatever. But anyway, let's just read the thing.
Yeah.
All right. So you want me to, is this the one that's on stage thing that I can add to stage, or?
No, that's not the one. That's a different one. That's something I'm going to read later.
Okay.
All right. But yeah.
Do you have it? If not, I can.
No, I don't have it with me.
Fair enough. All right. I'll put it in here. Paste. Okay. And then share it. Share screen.
Yeah, it's not just the 3,200 isn't just Xbox Studios. We're talking upper level management, a lot of that too, because this email goes through it as well, Nerds and Legends. Thank you for pointing that out. And I'm not trying to minimize layoffs at all. Everybody knows, if you've been with me for the past few years, my whole company was laid off. We were all gone. It was a bloodbath at my company, literally. It was bad. So I can feel for, being laid off 100%. So anyways, Hargeet, if you have that, you look kind of.
Oh, sorry. I think I have to actually put it on stage. Right?
There for you? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah. Can you see me?
He's frozen for me.
Really?
No, he's fine. He looks fine.
Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, resetting Xbox. Team, we are beginning the most significant restructure in Xbox history. After careful consideration, I've made the difficult decision to reduce our team by approximately 3,200 throughout FY27, which I guess would be this year. starting a couple of days ago, right, July 1st. This will include approximately 1,600 role eliminations today. And in addition, 4 studios will leave Xbox to new management. I recognize that a year-long restructuring creates additional challenges. Unfortunately, it is not possible to make all the necessary changes in a single day, and I wanted to be direct about the scale. I know this is painful. These changes will directly affect people who have poured their creativity into building Xbox. Many joined us through acquisitions, while others were recruited here or sought us out because they loved this industry and loved Xbox. Today's decisions do not reflect their talent or dedication. So why don't we just start with that one, right? And then we can get into the rest.
Yeah. Look, it's a lot of people. I mean, 3,200 is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, even laying off one person is a bad thing. Let's be real. Let's not sugarcoat it. It sucks. But so far, I mean, what she's said here so far is just, it's part of that whole harsh truths that she wanted to, the hard truths that we'd have to go through at Xbox. And I'm just, honestly, it's a bit shocking to me because, again, what I was hearing before all this took place was nothing but doom and gloom. You don't understand, like, not just in the public space, behind the scenes, people telling me like, oh, it's going to be a bloodbath. So many studios are closing, and they're mentioning studios, and I'm like, no way. Like, what? And so I was a bit like taken aback that it wasn't more than this, to be honest. And again, not minimizing how many are being laid off, but I thought it was going to be more.
Holly, what do you think?
Well, after like the first week when these rumors started, it just got completely out of control. And like, I was just like, this is ridiculous. You've got all these people of varying levels tweeting about whether it was a journalist, whether it was somebody who, oh, I heard, or I was in a meeting, and if things are going to be so bad, and you're just like, who are you? Like, after the first week, I was just like, I don't want to hear anybody's anybody's rumor, take, allegation of any degree. Not, journalists are doing their job. I get it, and I'm not mad at them for that. But like all the other people are coming out of the woodwork to be like, oh, I know, I saw this, and it's going to be terrible. And I was just like, I don't have time for any of this. That's why I just tweeted like, just wait. Nothing is real until there's an announcement. And I don't want to hear anybody's until there's an announcement, because it's like anybody else's, I just don't have space for it. So when they came out and talked about what they were going to do, I don't know how much you want to get into that, right? Because there's a whole
we'll get into those next.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
I mean, my thoughts are basically the same as well. I mean, 3,200 is quite a bit. However, there was going to be some right sizing. There's also going to be shifts, right? So there's going to be some people laid off, and there's going to be some people brought on for different things, right? So, but that happens with any management change like at this level, especially when the business is going in one direction and the new leadership wants to go in a very different direction. So that, it's not unexpected that this kind of thing would happen. But let's keep going. Our business today is not healthy. We are operating at margins that are 3 to 10 times lower than comparable platform and publishing businesses. We entered Gen 9 with a smaller install base and a higher cost structure. To grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and a broader portfolio of content. While those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow at the pace we expected. As that happened, our core business weakened, and we added more teams, more investment, and more time, hoping for a better outcome. And now the industry is facing the most severe hardware crisis in its history. We must reset Xbox. Should we just go over that, or should we kind of?
Yeah. That's pretty big right there. So when she's talking to here, saying to grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and a broader portfolio of content. that's kind of like this whole email in a nutshell, right? It's talking about what they did with the last regime and how they structured Xbox and how they made Game Pass their centerpiece while also trying to go multi-platform and pushing too many games out there and trying to acquire way too many studios. And look, I mean, as much as I'm known as a Game Pass hater. People constantly come at me because, I have my issues with Game Pass. But that aside, they themselves are telling you here that it's not where they wanted to be with Game Pass and going multi-platform and having all these studios and stuff and these games within Game Pass and stuff. It wasn't working out for them. They didn't grow with them. And I think that's just like a really tough spot to be in because she's brand new. She's coming in and she's saying like, hey, what are you guys doing here with all this stuff? And there's more stuff that comes in later that we're going to hear about in this email that I don't really want to touch upon yet because, again, I'm just trying to go through this, but there's just so much more to go through. Honestly, Holly, you can say what you want about this little paragraph here, but I think we should read quite a bit more after this because there's so much more to get into about this situation I want to talk about.
So I think the Game Pass. You want me to?
I think the Game Pass discussion is it's a different, bigger discussion, but it's not really like it's a piece of what's happening here, but it's not highly relevant
it's a piece
at the moment.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that highly relevant. Like, if you really want to talk about it, I don't know why everybody is on this kick of actively trying to kill Game Pass when there's plenty of people that actually use it and do like it. And it's weird to me that everybody is trying to devalue something that they're a part of when it's not my problem if Xbox I know, like it's exactly. I blame Xbox.
Is that your daughter's name? Game Pass? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so tired of this. Like now, all of a sudden, everybody who's pro Xbox is like, "Oh, you should take more out of Game Pass so that I give you the same money and I get less to save the company." And it's just like, what? Like what? Like I'm
Holly, she's actually stating here though that this stuff is not working as they intended. It's not growing the company. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not talking about what I personally feel about Game Pass. I'm just speaking on basically what they're telling us that's not working out the way they thought.
But Game Pass was the major source of Game Pass floated a lot of what actually has happened over the last few years. So the fact that Game Pass was like one of their main revenue, granted, not to the level that they wanted it to be, right? But it was one of their main revenue drivers. And then people are like, oh, it was making them money. You better take some more stuff out of it because that's way too good for me. What are we doing? Like, how is this the argument? And the fact that Game Pass, yes, it was a problem, but it's because they had nothing coming out of Xbox because they didn't have enough studios. And then Phil saw the problem, tried to go out and remedy it by buying all these studios. And it wasn't buying the studios that it was a problem. It was the management, which we'll get to, right? It was too much freedom.
Yes.
Too many opportunities.
We're going to get into all that.
But that's all because they were supposed to be providing massive content to Game Pass to make Game Pass bigger. And so that's why Game Pass wasn't as big as what they were projecting because the other shit didn't line up to make it what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's my Game Pass.
Go
ahead. Moving on. All right. First, we will reset our content portfolio. Since 2018, we have aggressively expanded our studio portfolio.
You have anything to say on that paragraph you just read?
Oh. On that one?
Hargeet?
Yeah. Can you not hear me?
Is he there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Can you hear him?
I can hear him. You just have a Hargeet block today. What's going on?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. It's not working.
Yeah,
this is so weird. I can't even hear Hargeet at all.
Oh, wow. I can hear.
So weird.
Well, look, I briefly on that paragraph, I guess I could say that like the 3 to 10 times lower.
Go ahead. I can't hear him, and I don't see his little mic moving. I see yours moving.
Maybe you need to leave and come back. Maybe you just need to restart your browser or just refresh it.
That's weird.
Yeah,
let me try that.
I don't know.
Now I hear you. I didn't do anything.
You hear me?
Okay.
Wow.
There you go.
So weird.
Go figure.
There you go.
So the margins, that's kind of interesting. Look, one of the things that I've been very disappointed in the Xbox side is lack of any information, right? They give us very little in their quarterly reports and their annual reports. I would rather just know, where are you? Like what is happening with this business, right? And it looks like we're getting more transparency now. That's good. So I hope we get more like actual data, right? Like what is going on with this business? How many subscribers do you have? How many console sales do you have? How well did Call of Duty do? How well did blah, blah, like whatever, right? Just tell us some numbers. But anyway, so it is good to hear that part of it. The rest of it, yeah, it obviously was a strategy shift, all of those, right? So one of them was to try Game Pass. Cool. Then was to do day and date in Game Pass, which meant you have to have a lot of content in there. And that meant you had to broaden your own portfolio, right? So they kept doing that. And then the next strategy shift was, okay, well, why don't we do multi-platform, right? Let's just release our stuff everywhere. And all of these had some good and some bad, right? And ultimately it led to sort of a weaker platform. That is what they're saying, right? That the platform itself has become weaker because of all these choices. Part of it, I'm sure, was the marketing campaign of this is an Xbox, which she came in and just shut down, of not saying, hey, you don't even need to buy our box, just go wherever you want. Okay, fair enough. And then people chose that, right? So it's like, well, wait a minute. Did you think about the impacts of that? So this is kind of just, telling us what we already kind of understood, but with some more, data to back it up, right? Hey, our margins are getting thinner and thinner, and they're not even close to where our competitors are. And that's not good, right? So they want to make sure that they get to a point where they're more profitable, as you were saying, Fonz. They need to be more profitable. But that's a fair thing, right? They're pretty low right now. And a lot of that's COD, right? Black Ops 7 did poorly. But it is where it is, right? So, all right, moving on. First, we will reset our content portfolio. Since 2018, we have aggressively expanded our studio portfolio, while the number of games created each month across the industry now outpaces the last 10 years combined. We now find ourselves competing not only with the largest publishers, but also with smaller independent studios. It is neither possible nor desirable to own every great independent studio. We have also learned that we are not the best home for every type of studio. In a typical year, we lost 64 cents for every dollar we invested. As we reset Xbox, we will help independent creators succeed by providing open development tools and audiences to realize their vision. Should we go over that? Or
I think, look, that is one of the most important things I think she says in this email, because remember back when they picked up Ninja Theory and people were asking, why did they get Ninja Theory? Like, that's not a good fit for Xbox. They don't necessarily make games that fit the Xbox gamer. A lot of people were saying that. And I think that they just took on too many different studios, and they couldn't deal with them. And I think that a lot of the problem stems, again, from the management issues that they were having there. We had, and she'll say it later on, like how many steps of management they had. It was ridiculous. But the fact that we know that they have a lot of these manager issues and stuff with their studios, and that they just kept acquiring more studios and more studios, and the games that were coming out of some of these studios just weren't really landing with the majority of the audience. I think it really hurt them. I think it hurt more than it helped at all, especially within, service like Game Pass as well. It didn't really help much there either. Like, it didn't bring people to the platform, which they wanted to do. So, again, a lot of this stuff stems from management issues. And again, and she goes through that later. But Holly, you can talk about this if you want right here.
I mean, what would be really interesting is to be able to see the breakdown on each game, to see how that split actually wound up being 64 cents or whatever it was per every dollar, right? Because obviously we know that, like, I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was a stinker, but somebody was talking about that. I think it was Jason Schreier. I watched a video from him yesterday or this morning, where he was talking about, like, that one was a really hard, they have this internal metric on how they figure out, the Game Pass creation. And Jez was talking about last night on Cult Show, where he was talking about how they have this internal metric to define, what the loss, quote unquote, is, right, for people using Game Pass to play a game instead of just purchasing it. And so I would be interested in seeing, out of all of the games that they're losing, out of all of their portfolio that's included in that, like, where is that money going? Where were they really getting hammered, and who was keeping it afloat besides Minecraft?
It's interesting here. Let me bring up this because I think it goes along with what we've been already covered here. Swaggy C 3068. Thank you for the $4.99. He says, do you think Xbox should decrease the price of Game Pass with significant loss of all these studios? Maybe that's why we got the price cut in the first place. We got the price cut in the first place because they took COD out of there. So that's why that happened. But to your point, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, removing all these smaller studios means less games going into Game Pass. I would assume that's what he's meaning. Should it be even less because you're not going to get as many games into Game Pass? I think that's what he's trying to say here.
Do you want me to go, or Holly?
Anybody. You go.
All right, so
you haven't talked.
Look, so I think part of this is the impact of the game. So, like, take this paragraph, right, where they're losing 64 cents out of a dollar for the content they're creating. If the content is different, because they're still, let's say they invest the same amount of money, which is what they're saying they're going to do, but they don't lose anything. They actually create engagement, right? And instead of it being a 64-cent loss because only, 1/1000% of the people on Game Pass actually used, downloaded the game and played it, it's 10%, right? And that's a significant amount of players, right? If it's 20%, 30%, right, that gives you a much better engagement level. That's what they're looking for, right? Generally, that would also mean that there might be more people subscribing, because it might mean more people are interested in that, therefore more subscriber base. And that's what they're looking for, is an increase in revenue to sustain those games. I think that's what she's trying to get at, right? And I think we get more of that later. But instead of the portfolio being games that people did not engage with, that is unfortunately where it ended, right? Is a lot of these games just didn't create engagement. Let's put in games that are significant, that actually cause people to say, oh, that's there. Oh, wait, that's there too. Oh, hold on, wait, you have that in there too, right? So that would allow the platform of Game Pass to sort of rise and give more prominence to it, right? Because it has more content that people would want to engage with. So again, I'm just trying to read between the lines.
Hargy.
Is that's where they're going to go, right? Is either Game Pass goes away. That's one option. Or you say, you know what, we'll double down on this. However, I want content that is flashy, right? Something that you say, like, the next, Splinter Cell, or the next, Tomb Raider, or something along those lines. Something that you already know is going to be there, right? It's going to be there day and date, right? Pick something that's flashy enough to attract a customer base. Say, oh, you had that day and date? Wow, right? So that it just creates that buzz, right?
You know what?
That's what they need. Persona 6, by the way.
Hargy,
that's a big one, day and date.
That's a big one to go into Game Pass day and date. It really is. So so taking my emotion completely out of Game Pass here, speaking just on a logical level, the way I look at Game Pass is the way the company is looking at it is they want to maximize as much profit in this Game Pass service. That's obvious. They want to take out things that just aren't really moving the needle for them. They're not enticing people to go to Game Pass for these games anyway. Hargeet, you're right, 100%. Like, you have to have compelling games to go in a service like this to bring people to the service. But also, you have to have more people buying the console itself to grow the service, because that is one of the things that stagnated the service as well as console growth. Without that, you're not going to get more people buying into Game Pass. And I know Game Pass is on PC too, but I think the majority of people are on the console. Now, with that said, I'm not saying take first party day and date out of Game Pass. I'm not going to go that extreme. If they are telling you that is good for them, that's fine for them, and they're making profits and they could keep these day and date games there, so be it. Let them do that. I'm not going to advocate against that. But I think one thing that really does kind of hurt them is not what they're allowing you to play, but what you are expecting to play within said service that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be there. Like, for instance, you hear a lot of people say, I'll wait till that game hits Game Pass, right? And so a lot of these players just won't buy games because simply they got 200 games or whatever there for them to play all the time. They can wait. They can wait on a game. And plus they've got the day and dates through first party and the occasional, third party day and date. Here's what I propose that they do. I think it's a better option, and it gets people to stop saying, I'll wait till that hits Game Pass. Don't put third party games in Game Pass later. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't mean no third party games, but it means if a third party company comes to you and you offer them money or whatever, like they did with Expedition 33, you get a game in there like that day and date that's compelling and it gets people to come to Game Pass to try that game, you freaking do it. You do it. And that lets your audience know that, hey, this third party game is coming to Game Pass day and date, but they will never go there later on. So you can't just sit there and say, oh, I'll wait to play that game until it hits Game Pass. Make sure the games that are going in there are day and date if they're third party. And of course, your first party games day and date. I think that's how you solve that situation where you're getting people not
would you
buying.
Respect that from PS Plus?
I'm not saying, I'm just talking about what Xbox could possibly do with their service.
Yeah, but I mean, if PS Plus can do it, why would Xbox not do it? And I mean,
because it gets too many people. It gets too many people waiting, and I think that's one of the biggest issues where people won't buy a game, especially day one. They'll say, "Oh, I'll wait for it to hit Game Pass," even if it's a year, 2 years later. They'll just wait for it. They're just like, "I'll wait for it to hit Game Pass."
Yeah,
I just think it's kind of
reality of what she mentioned already, which is there's just too many games. It's hard to keep up. It's just very hard to keep up.
So then I don't see, outside of that, Hargy, I don't see how they can be, I don't see how they fix the situation with making enough or as much profit as they want. Because I've never stated that Game Pass wasn't profitable. I've never said that, because it is. It's a fact. It's profitable. But obviously they want more from the service. That's the reason why they took out COD. They wanted more sales from that. And I just don't know, other than like giving some, kind of feedback about like what they could possibly do. And that's one of the things I thought of is like, okay, if you have a third party game in there, just make sure it's day and date, and make sure people know that third party games ain't going to come in there a year later, 2 years later, just because they're older. Like, they'll just keep putting their first party games day and date, and then the occasional big third party game that looks like it could be something enticing to throw in your service day and date. Like, that would attract people to the service. Who wouldn't like that?
I think the publishers wouldn't like that, because I think they like the double dip. I think they like getting money later from PS Plus and Xbox Game Pass.
See, it's a double-edged sword then. Like, okay, so then you're going to have people just sit there and not buy games. You're just going to have people sit there and just wait for games to hit Game Pass. That's going to happen. Yeah, that's going to happen. Right. But all in all, altogether, it doesn't matter what they do, even if they kept Game Pass the way it is and you guys love it. I get it. If they kept it that way, then they're going to have to be okay with the money they generate from this. Like, I don't know what they do. I don't know what makes it better for them.
I don't think.
I don't know, Holly, you jump in.
Problem. I don't think Game Pass is the problem. And then
Game Pass is the centerpiece of their business model. It's basically what they have going on to entice people to this value proposition for, you know, this low monthly price. You get all these games. It's a centerpiece for them. I'm not saying for me it's a problem. I think it's a problem, but take away that. I'm not saying. Let's just say they're making some profits on it, but it's not as much as they want. How do they rectify that? That's my question.
But it's not a problem.
How do they get more?
But what I'm saying is that it's not a like the problem is in what's going out to the studios and the other areas. Then it's not what's coming in through. I mean, yes, they want more in Game Pass, but by making the rest of the business more lean and efficient, you're also sort of solving some of the problems that, you know, your revenue stream isn't matching what it should be in relation to what you are having go out. So I think, to your point, to grow the model is exactly the same way that you want them to grow the user base, which is exclusives and money heading games into Game Pass or onto the platform or whatever, the old tried and true stuff and all the other things that I think Asha is very much lining up to do. And that brings people to the platform, which inevitably puts them in Game Pass, because now you're creating this incredible deal in Game Pass, right? And then if they have that many people coming in and Game Pass seems to be a problem because people are going there and spending their money there and they don't like that, then they change the model.
See, I don't think that's necessarily not necessarily their issue. Like, I think they would want Game Pass to grow exponentially. They wanted to be at, I think, 77 million by this year. I think that's what the proposal was a few years back. So I get it, and I get that they could put third party in their money hat day and date. They can, you know, put more compelling titles in there, build more compelling titles. Of course, that stuff will help things grow. But again, there's one big hurdle to all this, which is the console itself and how expensive they are right now. I think it's a bigger hurdle than just trying to grow Game Pass right now. I think that's the biggest hurdle, is the price of entry right now, getting into that, getting more people to buy an Xbox.
See, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like Brandon says, I'm sorry to say they got to take all day one games out of Game Pass. Like, just need to be an option that you add games on here later to really start making money. That doesn't really make I don't think that makes sense. Like, to me, I don't understand why. I don't understand why as a consumer that you would say, no, take my games out of day one. It's cool. I don't care. I'll just buy them outright. And then second of all, unfortunately, we live in an era where a lot of people just forget to turn off subscriptions, right? And that is also a thing that happens, is that they turn on a subscription and, like, it's not a problem, but it's not a problem for Xbox, right? But a lot of people turn on a subscription to play a game. But I also think you're discounting the fact that, like, Jax, your super chat that's sitting here, is the same as myself, where if I know that I'm really going to like a game and it's in Game Pass, I buy the damn thing anyway. Or I play a game in Game Pass that I know.
Yeah, I know, but you're a rarity for sure, because even Xbox themselves state that it cannibalizes sales for them.
But I also play games in Game Pass I never intended to purchase ever. And I wind up loving them. And then I do go purchase them. So it's not like, and they even said that they showed that there's a lot of people that actually do buy a lot of games that were in Game Pass. Plus, the other thing is that if you do start doing that, goodbye members in Game Pass, people will for sure just quit Game Pass. And then you've lost.
Well, that brings up an interesting point though, Holly. The interesting point to this though, and the reason why we started this conversation was due to the super chat earlier. If there are less games going into Game Pass from Xbox Studios, should it be cheaper then?
Sorry, what? I'm sorry. Say it again.
Should it be cheaper if there's less games going into Game Pass now that all these like smaller games are going to be gone?
I mean, there's still, yes, but there's like inherently, I think for a lot of people, there's still very little value if you're not providing any games that people want to play for at least a year after they come out. I don't think that anybody like the PS Plus. I have the lowest tier PS Plus because that's the only way you get to keep your online, right?
Yeah.
And that thing's a turd sandwich outside of just being able to have access to online. But you sure as shit know that they're gonna change that. It's already $80 something as it is for a year, which is insane to have online access, and it's gonna go up. They're evaluating those prices that they're gonna go up, and then I'll cancel. I really forget my old saves that are on the cloud. F it, I don't care. I'm canceling it. But like the point is that look how expensive the PlayStation one is. I don't think that it has great value. I wouldn't pay, even if I mained on PlayStation, I wouldn't buy any of those higher tiers. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, talking about earlier too, like trying to give some sort of like critical feedback rather than just saying, get rid of day and dates, get rid of this, get rid of that. I'm trying to, keep what I personally feel about Game Pass out of it and say, well, maybe this is a solution. Maybe they could, omit some older third-party games and give, whatever's, they decide to put in their day and date only. So that way, hey, that game's not coming to Game Pass, and you'll buy that because they're losing out on a lot of third-party games because they get that 30% if you buy it on their platform. And they're losing out on a lot of sales because a lot of people are choosing not to buy it because they're waiting for Game Pass, waiting to possibly drop into Game Pass. And that is one of the things I see all the time. So I'm just trying to figure out ways of trying to, fix that.
I think the a la carte option with Game Pass and like play it your way kind of thing is the bet. If people are insisting that something change with it, which I think is ridiculous, but if they're going to change it, an a la carte thing would be more appropriate, where if you want to pay a little bit more, you'll get the day ones. If you don't, you'll get them here. Or if you want them 6 months later, you can knock $10 off a month or whatever it is, right? If you want Call of Duty, like the Fortnite skin equivalent, right? For Call of Duty, you could add that in for $5 a month or whatever, right? But again, the other thing is like, let's not make this more complicated than it needs to be either, because the more you start adding crap in, nobody's going to get it. People are going to get the wrong thing. They're going to get mad. Like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, they can do what they want with Game Pass. If they're good with what they're making in it, so be it. Like, who am I? Who is Fonz? Fuck me. I don't listen to me because I don't like something. Look, if a company is giving you value,
they should,
and you find it value, then that's up to you. That is up to you, and it's up to the company to keep providing that value if they want to. Like, it doesn't matter what I say about the situation.
Nerds is right. Nerds agrees with me, so he's right.
But no, Fonz, they should listen to you is because you're somebody they want to win over, right? So it is good to get a perspective. I would suggest one of the things they do is a little, there's too much variety of smaller games and not enough larger tentpole type games. And I think that's one of the things that need to change, right? So it's great that you want to give me 75 day and dates, but and then it was one of the things I was leery of. Okay, but are like 73 of those all small indie titles? Then I don't know if I care, right? it didn't turn out to be just that. Persona's in there, Stranger Than Heaven, right? That's in there day and date. Those are bigger games. That's cool. But you need to do more of that. I'd say like you need to have like 10 big games. There's got to be 1 to 2 a month. Big games, whether they're first party or third party. 1 to 2 big games that draw you in. Oh, okay, there were 2 big games this month, 2 big games next month. And that keeps you there. And then maybe you have 6 or 7 other smaller games. I think the thing that I've found a little frustrating in a good and a bad way is it's impossible to keep up. If I want to play everything that's in Game Pass, it's not possible. It's just too much. It's just this big, massive amount of just dump and then dump and then dump. And you're like, okay, maybe if you cut that back and made it so that it was like stuff that I definitely will
curated
get to and want to play. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. And that maybe makes it more compelling. Again, this is just my thoughts, just like you're saying, Fonz. Who are we? But here's the thing. We're customers. And I'm sure we represent other customers that might think likewise, right? And so we'll bring different perspectives that they can then evaluate and say, maybe our mix needs to be a little different, and this is how we should go to market and try to get more customers, right? Because ultimately, that's what they want. They want you to subscribe. Fonz, that's what they want. They want you to subscribe.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. Like that's why I'm saying, look, I know you guys have heard me a lot talk, my hatred for Game Pass. Let's call it what it is. I'm not going to sit here and harp on that. You guys have heard my spiel on all that stuff, and I'm trying to legit just give ways out there that maybe if they want to make more money, maybe do it that way. But I'm not saying get rid of day and dates. I'm not saying any of that stuff. Like, personally, if they are fine with Game Pass, then let it continue. Let it continue. Like, the way they want to have it done.
It is.
But I just thought it was interesting because he asked, like, if they don't have these other smaller studios anymore making these games and throwing those in there in between the bigger games that they put out, should it be cheaper? And I'm just like, well, yeah, I would say, yeah, it should be a little cheaper if you're not getting but like one big tentpole title every couple of months. I don't think that's enough. That's just my opinion.
Which they may still have, by the way, right? And it just depends on like what they focus on, which they'll get into, later on. But I think it is up in the air what's going to happen with Game Pass. Not that I think it's going away, but what content mix? Because we did hear, some industry pushback, right? That hey, we were in the middle of starting our path to get on Game Pass, and it was like just stopped, right? I don't know if it was paused. It was not like it's dead, but right now it's paused and they're just reevaluating. Maybe they need to do that and say, okay, cool. That like this might be a potentially, 1,000 people might play this game if we put it in there. 10,000 people might play. But maybe
obviously they're looking at it too. Like it's not a situation where they're saying, oh, it's perfect. Like they've got issues with it too. Obviously, they're trying to deal with all that and fix it, whatever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Let's read on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on. All right. Okay. So we are now at this paragraph. Compulsion Games and Double Fine Productions will return to management and transition to independent studios with their IP, catalog, and runway for their next games. Awesome. Ninja Theory and Undead Labs have entered terms to join new ownership with funding to complete and grow Senua and State of Decay 3. In France, Arcane's management is beginning required consultation with its Works Council to review potential strategic options. We are also making reductions across other units and in some cases shifting investment to focus on higher priority projects. These changes vary in size across Activision, Bethesda, ZeniMax, Blizzard, King, Mojang, and Xbox Game Studios. None of our first-party publicly announced games or projects are being canceled as part of these reductions. I'll just read this little blurb too, and then we can go into it. In addition, Mojang and King will now report directly to me. These two studios have increasingly become platforms and are our largest bi-monthly active players. They bring critical geographic, demographic, and differentiation to Xbox. So quite a bit to go over there. Holly, your thoughts?
Okay. There's a lot. I don't think everybody, I think a lot of super smart people in the chat, which you all are, probably have thought of this, but overall, I don't think people realize how rare it is for a studio to be able to walk away with their own IP. And not only that, but they have also decided to Xbox has decided to let them walk away with their own IP and basically give them startup money, right? They didn't close them. They didn't take all of their intellectual property and then tell them good luck, Godspeed, go find your own thing. They basically packaged them up as best as possible to succeed on their own and said, we wish you the best of luck. We're going to help you finish this game. And that's fantastic. I don't, it's not the perfect outcome for those studios, but it's as close to perfect as it probably could be, at least for, was it Double Fine and Ninja Theory? Compulsion.
Was it Compulsion?
Right. Yeah, it was Compulsion. Yeah. And Ninja Theory and Undead got bought, and we don't know who. They said they would announce that later this summer. I'm assuming because they're still doing a lot of contract negotiations and stuff. But they're also walking away with their games and what they've been working on, and they're able to continue those under the new ownership. I also saw that I don't know how much truth there was to it, but that the State of Decay 3 is not necessarily entitled, or like part of the deal was not that it had to be in Game Pass, but that was a rumor. I don't know if it's actually true or not.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
It would be nice, considering they've funded many, many years of development for that game, that it would be able to just come into Game Pass as part of the negotiations. But I'm sure all of that is way more complex than I could comprehend, right? Where I get really antsy about this entire thing that's happened, and of course people losing their job is very sad and blah, 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 right? But like, just personally for me, Arcane is my favorite studio. And I have a very deep attachment to Arcane. They're very special to me. So,
and I want Blade. I'll just put that out there.
I love Blade. It's also like one of my absolute favorite characters. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. But like, it was really, when I first read this, I was like, okay, well, this isn't nearly as bad as people were saying on the whole. Of course, people on the whole, right? It could have been way worse. It could have been like, F these people and close the doors and sent them all on their way, right? But there's a few things that caught my attention, and some of them we haven't gotten to yet. But the one thing that panicked me, I was like, what world do we live in where, I'm sorry, people who like State of Decay, but what world do we live in where Undead Labs is sold safe and secure and Arcane Leon is actually at risk of being shut down? Like, what is this madness? Like,
I don't know if they are, though. I don't know.
Well, I read more. I went and started reading more about what that weird line about
the Works Council stuff, right?
Yeah, it's a French thing. It's because France has very, very strict labor laws. And so they couldn't actually start figuring out, they couldn't start having any negotiations or figuring out what they were going to do with them until this was done and this announcement was made. And so they filed the paperwork with the French Labor Board to then start figuring out, which basically means they're fucking done with Arcane. They're either gonna shut them, or they're gonna sell them, or they're gonna go independent, but they're done with Arcane. And so for me, that gives me
didn't they say something about going over budget with Blade as well, so they can't continue the game?
Well, I think they're going to continue it, right?
Yeah, if they
said they need to find funding. They need to find funding.
Let's be honest. How many games in the last 10 years have gone over budget and had an extended deadline?
Oh,
like, what the fuck? Like, that's
especially in the Western market. Especially in the Western market.
that's just not a good argument. Like, I don't want to hear that, because like we could think of 10 examples off the top of our head that went over budget and went too long. Even under just Xbox. Okay. So that's bogus.
Yeah. Holly, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And many others, right? It's not, but I'm just saying, even just under Xbox
it's not just
umbrella,
Microsoft.
Yeah, it's a whole industry problem. It's not Arcane specific. So I'm like, I'll burn this mother down if they want to get close, right? But if they land on their feet, either being, bought by another or being able to go independent and do what they want and need to do, then okay. Like, I'm still worried for them, but so be it. And I think Xbox was like, if Xbox goes and gives them the same care that they gave to Double Fine and Compulsion and Ninja Theory, like, so be it. But if they don't, then I'm kicking all my Xboxes out the window, and that's it. Game over.
I mean, I'm just going to point out the highlighted area, which would contradict that then, right? So none of our first party publicly announced games or projects are being canceled as part of these reductions. So Blade has absolutely been announced. So
I know, but I read somewhere else that Blade was still. Yeah, I heard it was kind of on hold because they need to find more funding or something.
Shut up. Shut your pie hole.
That's what I heard.
We're not friends anymore.
Who?
Mo.
Me?
Mo. No. So anyway.
No, I get this. Holly loves Arcane, so I'm not gonna,
It would be like a
look,
Rockstar.
I love Rockstar Games. If Rockstar Games did this, I would be in shambles.
If Take-Two did this to Rockstar, I mean, look, I have to agree with Holly that the games actually are pretty good from them. Arcane has made some pretty awesome games. Unfortunately for them, they might have critical success, but don't have financial success, and that does tend to be a problem.
But Dishonored,
I wish there was a way to fix that. I wish there was a way to fix that. I really do.
Dishonored has done very well over the course of time, like over time, right?
Sales and all that,
But the problem is like the further out it goes, usually it's at huge discounts, so they haven't really made a lot back. So
I gotta,
unfortunate part of it.
Honestly, for me to speak on this, I'm going to let this super chat speak on it because I think it's beautifully said. I think he summed it up perfectly. Nerds and Other Legends, good friend of mine out there, and we had a blast in LA. He said, imagine the difference between owning Double Fine these past 7 to 8 years versus just giving them the Game Pass bag for 2 games they produce. That's why owning the pipeline is not cost effective. And I think this sums this up beautifully. Because that is what's happening. Because you got to think about it, guys. Owning these companies, they have to pay for their health care. They have to pay for every little thing, vacations, everything. And if they would have just gave them bags for their games that they produced, they would have been much better off.
If they had cracked the whip and actually held them accountable and gave them goals and been like, yo, I need a game.
There's a good pushback, Holly. There's a good pushback. Go
for it.
They didn't
do any of that.
But go ahead. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Holly. But but the reason they didn't do that is it's part of the reason they were acquirable is that they had agreements that we would be hands off. This was all sort of the Phil thing, right? Phil was the kumbaya. And,
also,
hands off.
We are the world.
Yeah,
no,
and
then
we are the children.
Projects, which is fine, by the way. I don't mind the passion projects. But you do have to, like you're saying, Holly, crack the whip a little bit and say,
yes,
cool,
thank you.
But I need that game to be made. And you have to make it with these milestones. And then you can go do a keeper and all that on the fly. I have no problem with that. But I need this game and it's got to come out and it's got to do numbers.
And
right? So, right.
The biggest question out of all of that, Matt Booty was the head of studios. And somehow he went from 14 levels of management to being the head chief with Asha. Tell me how you write this letter and you still have Matt Booty as your sidekick.
Thank you.
I don't know. Is Matt Booty the one who decided all that?
He was the head of studios. He was
with the mandate that he can't touch them.
Yeah,
And look, I like Matt Booty. Don't get me wrong. I like Matt Booty. I'm not even mad at him because his hustle is fantastic, but it's just a valid question, right? Like
it is. It's a valid question of the entire leadership team, right? And we can keep going, but we haven't even gotten into what they continue with. But
I know. There's way more. We'll keep going.
I just want to get into just these paragraphs and say, thank God.
Yeah,
because it wouldn't look. Go ahead.
Oh, dude, 100%. It would have been terrible, Hargeet. Chris Jones Gaming Network, thank you for the 2, brother. Another great friend of mine. He says, great show as always. Much love, brother. No, thank you. And Chris Jones is going to have his have a little show going on, like an interview style show coming up. I don't know if it's already started, Chris. You can let me know in the chat. But I'm very happy that.
Yeah, we already did this one, right? So
yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about this one.
Yeah, Holly.
We talked about this one already, right?
Yep.
So,
yep.
All right, cool.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, man. And I'll definitely check out your show on your channel as well.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that they did not close any of these, and I'm very sure Arcane will not get closed either. I think that they'll work something out to make sure that they can go either independent or bought by somebody else. Fine. Cool. And I do think, and I hope, Blade does actually come out, because you did announce it and you made that statement.
I know
that none of those games are going to get canceled. Good. Get it across the finish line. And I think what they need to do now is literally what Holly said, crack the whip. I don't care at this point. You just kind of stop the kumbaya, right? And you've let them kind of slide. And like, we're hearing that Blade has had a lot of development overrun, right? And it's like, well, okay, let's try to fix that. And I guess the head of that studio left or whatever, right? That has been let go. So Fonz
gifted 5 memberships for you guys. Yeah,
awesome. But yeah, I think like it's as bad as this could have been. The bloodbath that we were expecting, no studio closures, is probably the best outcome you could have gotten.
Oh, 100%, Hargeet. It's a huge freaking thing.
It's a huge
and no
win.
Game cancellations yet.
And all the games that they announced are coming. That is huge. So they heard us. We were pretty loud about this, that, you know, touching these, like, especially if you close down Tim Schafer or somebody along those lines, come on, you're going to get pushback, right? And this is not an issue they have to worry about. It's so good that these 4 studios they're gone. Good. Don't even touch it. It's just gone. Go do your thing. We don't care, right? Now, what I don't know is, of the 1,600 that are happening today, are these part of those 1,600? I'm guessing they are, but I don't know. I have not seen confirmation of that, right? So I don't know if it's this plus 1,600 or it's this, you know, inclusive of in that 16.
These
and by the way,
are inclusive of the 3,200 overall.
Yeah, so the 1,600 recently
includes this.
Well,
okay,
the 3,200. So I don't know if, you know, like somebody
then it would be
divested until they leave, right? But the 3,200 between the immediate 1,600 and the 1,600 over the next year includes these studios.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing I've been hearing little bits and pieces, and I don't know, right now it's just like rumors, but kind of hearing that like these games that were mentioned, like Senua, State of Decay 3, they're not beholden to being in Game Pass anymore. They were announced to be in Game Pass day one, but because now they're no longer part of like Xbox.
I think that's still a rumor.
They're not. No. Jez reported on it especially with State of Decay 3. He said that might not be in Game Pass.
And you know what? Let the game do what it wants to do, right? It's up to them. They can figure it out. But whatever. The other one is Mojang and King are being pushed up the chain a bit. And maybe deservedly so, right? Everybody kind of overlooks those 2 juggernauts, right?
Yeah,
Candy Crush and Minecraft, that just silently are probably 80% of the user base.
Okay, now our gate's having a problem.
Okay, see, it's not just me. I was just staying quiet because I was like,
first time.
okay. All right.
Yeah, I think I froze this time.
You did.
I don't know what's going on.
No.
You did. Yeah.
You're good now. You're good now.
Yeah. So anyway, they're like silently like 80-90% of the user base of Xbox. But they're finally being recognized for what they are. Massive things at Xbox. So Candy Crush, Minecraft getting up leveled to directly to Asha now, which means I guess not reporting to Matt Booty, right? So we'll see what that means. I don't know what the specific reason was for that, but either way, that's happening. But yeah, so my thoughts are, thankfully none of these studios are closing. Yes, there's a lot of people, but you also have to understand they have a lot of people, right? It's not like it's 3,200 out of 5,000. They still have like 15, 20,000 people, right? So it's still okay. Yes, it's a big chunk, but
and it's not just 3,200 out of the dev pool. It's also management too. So
yeah, which by the way,
let's get that straight.
And holy crap, that part is crazy. All right,
it's insane.
Second, we will reset our platform. We know that great technology gets better when it gets simpler, not bigger. Today, in some parts of the company, work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. Our platform teams are 40% larger than they were at the start of this generation. Even as our player base and playtime have declined, that complexity has slowed decisions, blurred accountability, and made it harder to deliver for players. As we reset Xbox, we will simplify. We will reduce management layers to no more than 5, and where possible, 3. We will deliver success through a flatter organization that is built around makers, individual contributors focused on building, player coaches, leaders who remain deeply involved in the work while developing their teams, and directly responsible individuals who own key decisions and outcomes. And we will streamline how we work across our tools with a cleaner code base, shared services, and 50% reduced vendor spend. Let's just talk about that piece. Holy.
So the 14 levels is I heard, like, if you're thinking about it's just 14 managers, that's not the case. It's like there's whole 14 levels of people of different management levels that they have to jump through to get things going. No wonder they can't get a lot of this shit together. No wonder there's problems at Xbox in these studios. Holy crap. Holly, how many people do you have to go through to get things done? It's your job. How many levels there?
I work for the government. You really don't want to ask me that.
Yeah, there's a lot, right? There's a lot. And that's why I asked you that. There's a lot.
But that's why.
And you know how it is.
It's less than 14, though. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
That's the wild
it's less
thing.
than 14. It's
Unless
insanity.
Congress gets involved, in which case it's an act of Congress, literally.
Well, yeah, then that's another thing. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
When I read that, Hargeet, I truly sat there and wondered, like, how the hell have they gotten anything out? Like, what is the process like? From dev to going to the next level to talk to propose a game and then they go into the next level?
Like, it's like Team A, Team B, Team C, and Team D all have heads that are all very, shall we say, involved. And then, Team A comes up with something, but then Team D says, no, it's my way. Wait a minute. Well, why is it your way? But we already did it over here. No. And then Team B says, well, you guys suck. I'm going to go do it my way. But who wins? And then somebody else comes in and says, no, you all suck. Go do. This is the Mickey Mouse bullshit that has been going on. And this is why you have the mess with things like Halo being the way it is. It's not because the devs couldn't make the game. It's because of this Mickey Mouse bullshit. And it's like, well,
I'm thinking so.
There are management problems. Yeah. That's it. It's like the who wins shouldn't be a question. It should just be, this is what we decided. Fucking do it and get it out. Just shut up and do it. It does not need to take an act of Congress every single time to make anything happen. And that's what they've been dealing with. And that is a massive problem. Now, this is where I would say, Holly, your point about Matt might come in. If he was allowed to make changes to these studios, especially one like Halo's, like, why the hell didn't they? Why did they not fix this?
There we are.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why we
so
switched.
For Asha to recognize this, thank God, because this is just insane. Any layers like this need to go away. You need to have 1 point person at most, and they make the final say. Yes and no, done. It's over. That's it. And I don't want to hear anybody else. That's it.
That decision needs to be made within 24 hours too. Not, you know.
Yeah,
it's wild how they got anything done. It's fucking wild.
Literally years of bullshit. This is what it's been, and it's like, it's I've known this, but I've been silent.
Well, and it's not only
this is not insane.
And it's not only the levels though, it's also the attitude of, well, you're the studio, you figure it out, it's your baby, we weren't, you know, that it's dual fold. Even if there were 14 levels between like the head of studios and, you know, the artist on whatever, the head of studios was saying, well, it's you guys' decision, you figure it out, like you're the artist. And it's like, no, right? Like,
so who reported to Matt Booty, and who did Matt Booty talk to, or did he actually go to the studios and like see what they're doing and working on?
Well, there was that video.
Who's no longer there?
Video.
That's reported.
That's what we need to know. Who's no longer there?
There was that video. Did you see that interview video where they were interviewing somebody at one of these teams, and they said, yeah, you know, Phil and Matt would come in and they would look at the game and it would be all sunshine and roses and everything looks great. This is really cool. I love what you did with this. And he's like, and it would be all awesome. But then like you get a bean counter calling you like 2 weeks later from accounting saying like, what are you doing? You like, this is way over budget and stuff. And it was like,
wow.
So it's just, and you know what's funny? You know what's really funny too is ever since they bought Bethesda, I've been saying from that minute on, I was like, dude, now you own In Exile, you own Obsidian, and you own Bethesda. You need to make a separate studio and take a handful of people from each three of those and make a studio baby that just makes another Fallout. Like that would be perfect because they've all worked on Fallout. They all have the same like right quirky sense of humor, all of that stuff. Put them together, mash up a little small team so that all the big teams can still do their thing and make a team to work on a new Fallout. And they never did it. And now Asha's literally saying, no, I need more Fallout. I need more Halo. I need more Gears.
That one.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, this is my idea from the beginning. Like that's what they should do. Anyway.
But
there's a lot of dumb moments, right? Even coming from us, the gamers. We're like, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And then, yeah, it's crazy.
And it's not like the people there didn't have the same thoughts.
Yeah, no, for sure. Right. There's some people that did.
I'm a nobody, right? Like if I thought of it, they definitely thought of it somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
They know their market. They know what there's like. Okay,
so between level 1 and level 14, somebody got it all fucking wrong. Somebody was like, "No, we're not. We're putting the squash on that."
Yeah, right. It never made it.
Yeah, it just never made it.
But yeah, changing all of that, getting it to be flatter, make it more like, hey, you have teams that are empowered to get that part done. Go get it done, right? And make sure you're delivering, right? And the accountability that goes with it. No bullshit of like, well, no, but they said that, and no, but they said that. I don't care. Like, where's your deliverable? Just get it done. No more bullshit. And that, like, hopefully that streamlines the whole process and they actually get the workout, right? So we'll see how that works. I hope.
Well, she wants to get it down to three levels. So that's progress. Yeah. It's 5 now. So
and them actually make decisions.
It's 14 now.
They
want to get
she's getting it to 5. Yeah. Hopefully 3.
5. And I guarantee you, a decision comes up the chain, and nobody's gonna say, "Well, what's the creative say?" It's gonna be, what's the money say, and is this going to work?
Yeah.
And they're going to get a real answer.
It has to go up the chain. The general answer should be, it shouldn't have to. Like the game you should just be able to make the damn game, right? And I don't know, whatever. Moving on. Third, we are resetting how we operate. As Xbox grew our head count, we became more fragmented. Teams, studios, and functions often operate independently, and it became harder to work towards a shared goal, make the right trade-offs, and get things done. Ugh, gee, shocking. For the first time, we are establishing a chief operating officer. They haven't had a chief operating. Anyways, with end-to-end P&L responsibility across content, hardware, platform, and services. Helen Chen.
Can you just stop really quick? Just really quick. How have they not had a COO with 14 levels of freaking management there? Like level, they had not had a COO. What big company doesn't have a COO?
Oh, even better. No COO with end-to-end P&L responsibility. They didn't care about P&L. Okay. That's kind of
crazy.
An interesting thing, right? Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it's about
insane.
and at this point, you're earning billions upon billions. There's no way around it, right? It's a like 10, 20, it's 21, 20-ish billion a year in revenue. You have to have somebody handle your budgets and make sure everything's copacetic. But yeah, so good that this is finally happening. There will now be sort of budget accountability, which is good. They kind of need to do that, right? And say, all right, well, because
they should have been doing that. Like, it's insane to me.
You can kind of see it from these smaller studios that are like, oh, there's no budget constraint. I can just buy a $10,000 laptop. Oh, okay. I'll just buy a $10,000 laptop. Right. And like, well, but is there a need for that? Can you live with a $2,000 laptop? We won't ask that question. What do you mean you won't ask that question? Like, so there's like, it became zero accountability, right? Normally in a company, you have those structures of, no, I own the assets. I will give you what you need based on your job function. Whereas if you just buy like a Double Fine, and Double Fine's entire management structure is Tim Schafer said I can do it. Well, if there's nobody above Tim saying, no, you can't do that, he's just going to say, oh, you want that? Sure. Like, right? Because
imagine Asha coming in though and seeing this, and they're like, wait a minute, you're not even watching over the profit and loss.
There's saying that mindset, you know,
like Asha coming in and seeing that there's no COO, they're not overlooking the profit and loss. Like, she's probably going out of her mind, ripping her hair out. Like, what were you guys doing?
Yep.
Like, how did you guys even stay afloat this long?
Yeah.
Like, it's like the basics like of business. It's wild. I love the transparency here, though. I love it.
Yes.
Do you guys remember? Do you remember all the controversy around Obsidian right before Avowed came out with Matt Hansen, the art director?
Yes.
You know, he got laid off.
Okay.
Just letting you know. That was one of the things that came out. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
okay.
think those kind of things are also going to get looked at, right? Because there was a little bit less, I don't know what you want to say, but maybe it was like, it was a lot more open to allow people to express their opinions, even if it would hurt your game.
Yeah.
And
that's a very Microsoft thing, though.
Anymore.
That's a Microsoft thing.
I don't think they're going to care, because in the Microsoft world, they sell to enterprises, and enterprise money is kind of guaranteed. Whereas in consumer world, you say F you to your consumer. Guess what they do? They walk away. And that's not good for a consumer business.
And I mean, as we're seeing, the employment market is very volatile in the games space. So if you get fired, there's somebody else who can take your spot very easily, right?
Yeah, and look, my heart goes out to all the people that were laid off, except for Matt Hansen. I didn't say that. That's so rude. That's rude.
Well, can we just take a second just to sidestep a little bit? Something that's not in this at all is the id Tech entire team getting laid off. id Tech is fucking based.
The entire team. I thought it's 50%. I thought it was half the
of id. It was the id Tech engine team. Like, it was the
the id Tech engine team. Yes. Wow.
Like,
why did they do that? By the way,
I don't know. It's a fantastic engine.
I have a theory on why. So I think that they don't want to use the proprietary engine, which would be a freaking travesty.
I think that they're trying to talk. When she talked in this about, there was some weird language about software compatibility or something like that. And I think it means she just wants to move everybody to Unreal.
That's what I think. That's exactly what I think, which sucks because I am an advocate for proprietary engines, especially IdTech. IdTech is the best first-person engine out there, like the smoothest. Zocker out there, shout out to him. Zocker was telling me that IdTech is kind of the way he was saying it was like, yes, proprietary engines are hard to work with if you're not within that studio, but IdTech specifically wasn't that easy to work with. He was saying there was something that came out talking about that.
And there is a little bit of a problem for IdTech in that their engine was used to create the COD engine. And the COD engine is an industry engine because it's COD, right? It doesn't matter. There's so many tens of thousands of people in the world who have done work for COD. They know that engine, and they already have a team that keeps that engine kind of evergreen because they have to. There's no choice, right? It's the COD engine. And so you have an IdTech variant that's pretty damn good, right? That runs.
Yeah. And Coog, this is just my thoughts and Holly's, obviously, that this might be what they're pushing for, but I hope not, because IdTech is beautiful. When Phil first went in there, and I know
is better than UE5. Like
Phil, yes, but Phil was even talking about, imagine getting Halo on IdTech, because he knows that first-person engine is beautiful. It's so good.
Or you could repurpose.
You know what it doesn't do? It doesn't stutter.
Like, you know what else it doesn't do? It doesn't give a $10 super chat saying that blue number can obviously do no wrong as usual. She's been on fire today. Good job today, Holly. You've been on fire.
He likes because he's agreeing with me.
Yes. You've got a lot of agreements today. Thank you for the 5, Alvin. 35 studios, 14 layers of management, no COO. It was a ship without a navigator. This reset had to be done. Great show today. 100%. And look, not minimizing layoffs, not advocating for, they should just fire everybody. Look, it had to be done. This is so true. There's so much going on here in this email that was insane. And we're still not even through this email, Hargeet. So let's move on.
We have this one as well. I don't know if you read Biff's.
Biff Rinaldi with the 2 says, is Blade still first party if Arcane leaves Xbox? No.
And I think you already got this one, right? Great show as always.
Yes. Chris Jones, my boy, Chris.
All right. Continuing on.
I love these sticker things. These are really cool. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. What is up with all those sticker things? I see them flashing up. They're cool.
It's YouTube trying to be more like Twitch. It's like they give you it's not on Twitch. It's bits. They give everybody like 1,000 of whatever currency this thing is. And if you use them on a person's channel, it puts the thing up. And I think it's a little monetary thing too.
That is so cool, though. I saw that floating around. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that.
All right. Helen Chang has been promoted to this role and will report directly to me. Over nearly 2 decades at Xbox, Helen has helped build some of our most important businesses, from Xbox Live to leading Mojang and the Minecraft franchise. She will bring our businesses together under one operating model, making sure we make clear investment decisions, learn from our successes and failures, and hold ourselves accountable for results. Thank you, Dave McCarthy, who is retiring after 17 years with Xbox. Dave has played a defining role in building the platform that millions of players rely on every day and has been a trusted partner through many of the biggest moments in Xbox's history. We wish him all the best. Should I keep going, or do you want to talk about that?
Keep going. Going.
Who is
Dave McCarthy? Yeah, you can check out who that was. These changes are about a bigger future for Xbox, not a smaller one. The next decade of gaming will be larger, more global, and more creative than anything we've seen before. This year, we'll invest as much in Xbox as we ever have. but will invest with greater focus, greater discipline, and greater clarity, all in service of making Xbox where the world plays and creates. I want Xbox to be one of the few companies that entertains more than 1 billion people each day and gives everyone the opportunity to create and connect. I know we can achieve this goal. Xbox has many of the most beloved franchises in entertainment history, talented studios around the world, and we will return to growth in 2027. History is full of companies that mistake longevity for inevitability. We will not be one of them.
It's a great email.
Yes.
It's like, look, there's a lot of corpo speaking there as well, but I think, thank you very much, Lotus, for the gifted membership. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I think that, let me just be real for a second here and just say something that is really unlike me. Asha is cooking. And I don't say that about many like executives and stuff, but damn it. There's part of me that wants to just hate on executives all the time, but this woman is doing so much, at least talking on it and now doing it. Like actually things are getting done. House is getting cleaned. I have to be real about it. I think that she's being like 100% transparent with us when it comes to the business. That much is obvious because she's putting it out there. All their dirt is out there. Like they're telling you how much in dire straits they are, yet she's out here trying to do something about it. And look, layoffs are bad. They're horrible. They're screwed up. But if this means, as a gamer, for me, as the consumer, guys, think about yourselves here. Like, if this makes a more healthier, focused company to bring you better product, then so fucking be it. Like this is what needs to be done. I'm glad that things are getting done. It seems like we've sat on how many years now with leadership that were just spinning their wheels. They weren't really doing anything, even though that you thought they were and you were thinking that great things were happening. Obviously, they weren't. The company didn't even have a COO, for crying out loud. What is going on? Like, Asha, thank you for coming into Xbox and bringing a breath of fresh air and actually doing something to try to right this ship that has been just wrong for so many years, in my opinion. That's all I got to say.
Holly, your thoughts?
Yeah. Minus what happens with Arcane. Because that will completely taint everything else that I have to say right now. I give her huge props for the transparency. And when she has bad news to deliver, she gives you the reason why there is bad news. And that's super important, I think, for a lot of people. I think she's doing a lot of right things because I think Xbox is, I don't want to say in dire straits, but it's not healthy. She said it's not healthy. That's a polite way of putting it, I think. Things have to happen in order to right the ship so that it can become bigger and better. And she has a monumental task in front of her to make that happen. And I don't envy that job, right? There's a lot to do. There's a lot of painful things to do. And there's a lot of things that she doesn't know anything about and she has to make decisions on because she's not a gamer. She didn't come from gaming. This is all new to her. But
Holly, you're on fire. Go.
But the only thing I will say, and I have mad respect for her. I think she's doing a great job. I actually do. Minus Arcane. Because she's going to regret that. She's going to regret that. But beyond that, the only thing I have to say that does concern me, I saw a lot of people online be like, oh yeah, $1 billion, Xbox, right? but they're forgetting that she's very much relying on King. She specifically called out King in here, right?
And
so
Mojang
a billion is very easy because that includes mobile. So the thing that I worry about as a PC and console gamer, and one that doesn't play Minecraft with any sort of regularity, or, you know, any of the Roblox, right? That kind of thing. The only thing I have a little caution, and it's a small caution, but it is a caution, is that she's like, we need more money. We need to go all in on our big stuff. We need more Fallout. We need more Halo. We need more Gears. We need more Call of Duty. And that's important, yes, because Xbox has seriously missed the mark on not having at least a remaster of something Fallout to go with the show, right? At a minimum, let alone a new installation. But they've missed the mark on a lot of stuff. And you also know that she's definitely looking at divesting into TV and movies on these franchises. And that's smart. It's very smart. But the only thing I'll say is that I worry a little bit because you need a healthy, diverse portfolio in gaming. You can't have just the Fallout, the Halo, the Gears, the Call of Duty.
Yes.
You have to have
new IP.
A lot of different things in varying sizes and in varying markets, right? And so I just and not everything needs to be mobile, and not everything needs to be Minecraft, right? And so and she has to be aware of that, but balancing, I just hope that she doesn't lose sight of the fact that the smaller games are also okay, provided, of course, right, they hit the P&Ls and all that stuff, right? Like the smaller experiences, the smaller or mid-sized games, the new IPs that have to be made, and that's a risk, are also important in a good portfolio.
Right there. Nerds and Legends, money hat business. 100%. They need to do that as well. You're right, Holly. This is why I was stating the other day when we were talking about this on Friendly Fire, I said kind of the same thing. Like, you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money to make a great game. You can make a great smaller game.
Look at Vampire Survivors, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can have hits that are smaller budgeted, 100%, but they need to be laser focused on making those compelling games. That's the bottom line. It's not really about budget. It's about fun. It's about creating fun that a lot of people want to play. And
do a friend slap game. Friend slap games are huge right now. You spend $1 million and you get 40 back in return, right? You just have to hit the things that are fun, right? You don't need mega graphics. You don't need, detailed, intricate shooting. You need things that are just fun.
I mean, look at like Eugenics, Slay the Spire 2, right, and Vampire Survivors. You have so many small games that get built at such a small scale. You don't need big budgets for, and they're compelling. Yep. They bring people to your service. They bring people to your platform.
And you can make things like
games.
That. Get those types. Like a lot of those are only on PC. Get that shit on your platform.
But don't lose sight. But also, you don't lose sight of your big tentpole titles as well. Like you have to make big, compelling IP as well.
Business here.
Yeah. You have to get. You have to make big, new, compelling IP as well. And I'm hoping. I know it's not new, but it kind of is. Like when you think about Fable, it's a reboot. It's a big new IP. Like more of that. I want to see good, compelling titles. Thank you very much, Lotus. I see all the gifts you've been sending. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Hargeet.
So, look, it's great that they're finally doing some accountability. I think that needed to happen. But this was the vision of the previous administration. You can't just like blame the studios when that's what you're telling them. Like, okay, come up with whatever wacky idea you want. We're gonna say yes. And it's like, well, okay, then we'll come up with wacky idea number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10, number 30, and we'll just do all of them. And it's like, well, okay, what should have also been a part of that was, hey, there's that IP that's kind of big. Maybe you could do one of those too. That might have been a good suggestion or two. Like, I'm still surprised that we got Senua after Hellblade 2's performance. I don't know why they didn't just say, okay, cool. Can we shelve that maybe and do like one of these other things you've done before? Or maybe like take a stab at one of these other IPs we have? You do have some other pedigree under your belt. Perhaps that's another place to go. And I think they were way too hands-off in not looking at what's going to bring people to the platform, right? I don't mind them doing Senua after like doing another game or two, and then come back to that. Maybe there's enough demand to say, cool, let's do that. Hellblade 2 just didn't light it up. It just didn't, right? And I think you have to then take that into account and say, all right, next, let's try something a little different, right? And I think a lot of this is just a confluence of bad things just kind of happen together, along with games that were good, but just didn't go. So Obsidian, for instance, Obsidian thankfully didn't get too hammered. It did get hammered. It didn't get too hammered. It's still there, right? But
yeah,
they had 2 flops in a year where they released 3 games: Grounded 2, Avowed, and Outer Worlds 2.
Well, they're working on Avowed 2. So
and 2 of those did not do that well, right? Grounded 2.
Oh, he froze.
Okay, it's not just me.
That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. Like I was seeing this before y'all.
I don't know what the hell's happening.
That was
now
you.
It's just
No, it's
dying.
good. Yeah.
I don't know
You're good. You're good, Hargy. You're good.
So, but anyway, so sadly for Obsidian, there is a simple answer to that was not employed. I don't know why. Maybe Todd, but just make a freaking Fallout game. You've already done it before. And we already know Fallout is an IP that people would have just gravitated towards instead of Avowed 2. And I like Avowed. I liked Avowed. I liked it more than Outer Worlds 2. Outer Worlds 2 is awesome. I would rather they make those games, but it doesn't matter. The market,
I liked Outer Worlds 2 a lot, but nobody else did.
The market tells you what needs to happen, and so those are the decisions. Instead of what you said, Holly, Avowed 2 is coming. Well, that's cool, but you better also be telling me Fallout New York or Fallout.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They need to make a Fallout baby. In Exile, Obsidian, Bethesda. Yes.
What they don't need to do is make any more keepers and kilns. I'm sorry. I know some of you love those little artsy games, but here's the thing.
They didn't those as long as there's another one. There has to be.
They didn't do. Yeah, exactly. Hargy, you're right. If they were able to throw these out as just like little tiny games that were in between bigger games, that would be different. But they had nothing else. Literally, it was keeper than kill.
They have the problem is they have a big game that they're also working on, and I think these were just little like side projects that weren't a huge big deal to them.
Yeah, I get it, but
they had even before they started with Xbox, right? But
they should have brought the big game out and then released these 6 months and then a year after.
I think Kiln might have sold like maybe 18,000 copies. Like it didn't sell much at all.
But so all of this is good as far as
don't quote me. I the last I saw something like that.
It might be that bad. I don't know. Whatever.
Or Keeper was that small.
Keeper was good.
Keeper was a good game. But again,
Keeper sold 17,000 units. Yeah, 17,000.
But it doesn't pull people in. I don't know why, but it just
doesn't pull people in. Yeah, exactly. Those little artsy games don't really like. But again, you have things like Vampire Survivors you could make that pull a lot of people in.
That is part of the problem. You don't always know, right?
You don't always know.
You don't always know.
True. So you have to allow some. But this is why I think it's always good to allow small teams to do little passion thingies for a small amount of money. Pentiment did not break the bank, right?
Right.
Great passion project. Great game if you liked it, but even if it didn't sell a copy, it's not going to break the bank. It's a small investment, but it keeps that team happy, along with them making things like unfortunately, Outer Worlds 2 did not go anywhere in Avowed, right? So that you have other bigger games. But that's what should be happening, right? I don't mind this passion project stuff. It's fine, right? But there's got to be the big game along with it. That's fine. I like passion project because then you get a Grounded. Every now and then you get something that's great, right? So I don't mind that. But there is a point with Nerds Makes that there's a little bit of a problem with not, right? This is something that Phil kind of veered away from, not money hatting, because that is how they got a lot of these games. They literally money hatted Halo and then said, we're buying you. They literally money hatted Gears and then said, we're buying you, right? I mean, they've done this over and over again. Like you have to do it. You have to go down that path, right? I don't know how you want to keep buying every studio and making everything yourself. It's tough to do. You money hat and say, all right, cool. That was a good IP. And then let's try and, either take the IP, own it. Maybe at that point you do buy the studio, fine. But you have to like see what people are doing, see if it has an audience, and then go from there. And then that gives you something.
Kiln at least outlived Concord.
It did. Fair enough.
Can I also make another suggestion too?
Yes.
Like, I know it's unpopular, but I'm sorry, if I owned a business and I was acquiring you, I'd be like, you can't stay in San Francisco. It's the most expensive city in the world, in the US.
Right?
You are going to move to Friday, Oklahoma, or something like that, right? Like Oklahoma City, Omaha, Nebraska, some shit like that, where the median income that you get paid will go way further. Yeah. And the studios the studio costs are way down. Like, yeah,
that's a great point.
That's also part of the problem. All of a lot of these studios are in very expensive areas.
Santa Monica, San Francisco,
yes.
Get out of California, personally. Like, take them all out of California. That's insanity. Nerds and Other Legends, by the way, I've always been pushing money hatting games. I'm going to continue to push that as well. Like, and I think Asha will.
If they want to play this game of exclusivity, they have to do it.
You have to.
But to Holly's point, my main fear of this has always been this: we were getting diversity of games because they had the studios and let them do whatever they want. Yeah. That is going to kind of dry up. If the focus is going to be much like PlayStation, the big games only, boy, does that get boring. I don't need the umpteenth version of the same thing. And I hope that isn't where we go. I'm a different type of gamer. I like
to
have
new IP. You need new IP, Hargy.
I think you need something to stimulate an interest in your platform. You still need something like this generation for PlayStation it's bland, mostly because they haven't had a lot of new stuff. The new stuff was Returnal and Saros. Okay,
dude.
Where's the new stuff? Somebody will say Tokon. I'm sorry, but that's a Marvel property. It's not theirs. I don't care.
Niche
new.
It's a niche
I
game.
want new. The new
PlayStation has had
6 with what's that Naughty Dog game?
Intergalactic.
Yeah. That's going to be their new game, and it's like, but dude, you're skipping all of PS5.
But
you're giving me
you skipped all of this generation. This generation for me, I'm a PlayStation game lover, Hargeet, and this generation has sucked for me. I think there's been some good games. There's been some good games, but they're all sequels or remasters.
Yeah,
that's all I've gotten over there.
Yeah,
so I want more.
So
I want more.
And I hope that isn't where we go, because that's what it looks like. Now, one studio that wasn't mentioned here, which I'm hoping has not been touched, is Elsewhere, which is a studio that they had just created.
They haven't been touched.
That's fantastic, because they're making my kind of game. They're making an open world RPG. I want to that's the supposedly that's what they're making. And I want to play that.
And so is Activision.
That's what I mean. Activision owns Elsewhere. Elsewhere is built under Activision, right? So that was their thing. And I'm like, if they keep that, because it has some pretty big talent, I'm like, okay, cool.
It's safe. Awesome. It's been announced. It's safe. It's fine.
Okay.
It's moving.
BT, what? And someday I hope you move out of California and you find out that you're not in a great state after all. It's a beautiful state, gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Well, a lot of problems.
The other thing is, we keep getting these snippets here and there of how good that Bethesda Soft was, like that game that they were working on. That was the massive, was it an open world RPG that they were working on? The space-based one that Bethesda proper was working on. That got
the one that just canceled.
Yeah.
I forgot the name. Was it Project?
Yeah, I forgot.
I just saw another thing from Jason Schreier about it and how far along it was, and they saw it and it was fantastic. And I'm like,
supposedly it was good.
Resurrect that shit, right? Like,
yeah.
Why would that have been? I mean, I don't know. There must be something wrong with it, but like everybody who's seen it talked about how promising it was, and I'm like, if you're closing all this other stuff.
And I wonder how far along Project Dragon was, or whatever they called it now, that IO. And I don't know if that.
They just got all the rights to it. They just got all the rights to it. They're going to continue it with somebody else.
Yeah, I know, but
IO did.
Why was it necessary? So is it that far behind? Like
I think it was just a simple way for
there's a big
cut funding without cutting more people. That's what I think.
So there is a big thing going on right now with Jason Schreier and Bloomberg. They came out with an article today talking about that Xbox is double downing on exclusivity. And I don't know if you saw this, Hargeet.
I did not, but does it surprise me? No, because we've been hearing quite a few little hints that is going to happen.
So matter of fact, here's some of the takeaways. So I don't have Bloomberg, so I don't pay for it or whatever. So I had ChatGPT send me all the takeaways of this reporting. Thank you, Schreier, by the way, for your reporting. So it says Xbox leadership has reversed course on several PlayStation releases that were previously being planned. So they're removing some PlayStation titles that were potentially going to PlayStation, Xbox titles going to PlayStation. They're stopping that. They will be putting out the multi-plat, the big multi-plat games, like we've heard, like PlayStation's doing on PC, the same thing. Some of those games will still be going over to PlayStation, but their single-player games, they will be. It's being rumored anyway that the way this is formulated, the way it's been written, that it sounds like they're going to keep these big single-player games that we know Xbox to own exclusive. So it brings me to the question, do we think Elder Scrolls 6 is exclusive now?
So, because in my world, look, you've taken away everything else.
System seller they have. Right there.
They've taken everything else away, right? It's not going to be a South of Midnight, right? Because there is no South of Midnight. They've gotten rid of all the other studios. Arcane's going away. You basically have Machine Games and id making your Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, maybe Indie. I don't know. They haven't said that one, but maybe that. But that's basically what they're making. BGS is making Elder Scrolls Fallout, maybe Starfield whenever that happens. And then you have your Zenny Online doing the Elder Scrolls Online Fallout 76.
Yep.
And then on the other side, you're going to have Halo, Gears, Forza, right, and Call of Duty, and so what game? What game can they take that's going to be exclusive? All they have is Diablo. It can't be COD. That's locked out. Can't be COD. Can't be Overwatch.
Yeah.
Right? So it's going to be Diablo. It's going to be Elder Scrolls. It's going to be Fallout. It's going to be Doom. It's going to be Quake. That's all they have. Halo, Gears, Forza. Right? So what? It's not going to be Minecraft. Minecraft is literally in every freaking fridge everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's not coming away from anything. So what? That's it. So you have to. Elder Scrolls has to be. Basically, they're going to take all their stuff and make it all exclusive. That was the original plan, right? Before the ABK acquisition, it was, I see the Elder Scrolls just like Starfield, and they can absolutely be exclusive. I don't understand why not. That was Phil, right? So I think they're going to make it exclusive. I still say to Asha, Fable needs to be exclusive. I don't care if it costs. I don't care what it means. I just make it exclusive, period. It has to be exclusive.
I think that's
next
too far.
Year's big game.
Yeah.
Hargeet,
I don't care if it's too far. I don't care. Let
me ask you real fast about
And again, I'm not
So
even
these
for
are
exclusives. But anyway,
let me ask you real fast about the FCC and Call of Duty. So we know that Phil had promised a 10-year arrangement everywhere. Was that so?
it's
I
not a
also
promise.
know
They have a contract.
Okay, because I was gonna say I also know that you could promise the government a lot of stuff in these hearings and then just change your mind later, and you say whoopsie poopsie, like I changed my mind later. The economics changed my mind, and then you don't really get in too much trouble. So that was going to be my question: is there a hard and fast where that 10-year is just that's it? Like there's no changing anything.
I don't think there ever has to be something that crazy, but even if you took it for 10 years, after that, they could do whatever they want with it, right? But as far as the contract, the contract terms can be changed as long as both parties agree to it. I don't know that Sony is interested, right? Because so here's the thing: what within a contract there'd be a breach of contract clause, right? What is that breach of contract gonna cause to happen to Xbox? I don't know what the answer to that is. So because I haven't seen the contract, it could be you owe us, $2 billion, and Microsoft's like, $2 billion here, that's out of my cushion here, have fun, like whatever, right? And that could be an answer, right? As far as the FTC, well, FTC has no teeth because they lost their case. They didn't even do a good faith negotiation. They were stupid and actually sued them. That was a bad idea. They should have sat across the table and said, like the EU did. The EU did it the perfect way, which is behind the scenes. I want this. They went and made a whole bunch of arrangements. All these agreements in the background, right, that happened. That's because the EU said, I will give it to you if you give me this. And they said, okay, sure. Made it all happen, right? That's how you get what you want. Because that way, it's much easier for both parties to get everything they want to get out of it, right? The UK kind of partially did that by blindsiding them with the cloud being a problem, and then said, okay, fine, do this. And they were able to make an arrangement and then go forward, right? And those are now binding. So they're kind of stuck with whatever the EU agreements they have. And those are government agreements. Very hard to break that without getting into trouble. So the EU and the UK, whatever they've done, they've done. The US lost because the FTC was stupid and didn't do that. They could have done a whole bunch of things and said, hey, you know what? For 5 years, you can't touch Game Pass price. That would have been fantastic. They just didn't do it. But they could have 100% done that. But as far as your agreement, I think they're going to be very reticent to break a contract with Sony and with Nintendo. I didn't know if it was that's going to happen.
I didn't know if they actually had the full contracts or if it was just like as part of the agreement to get through the FCC trial, like this is what we're doing. But yeah. And to be fair, I don't know that pulling Call of Duty out of all of the games from PlayStation is actually the right thing for them. I'm not saying that is. I was just because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Now that
but it's also a big draw as well.
That and Elder Scrolls being on Xbox, you change the entire game.
Yeah,
you do. But I don't. I don't think they're going to touch that.
But the biggest, again, I think the biggest hurdle right now is console prices. Like that is the biggest thing to get more people into this console space, or even going next gen. And I'm not just talking about Xbox, Hargeet. I'm talking about PlayStation as well. PlayStation 6. These consoles are going to be just outrageous in price. Danny Passion, thank you for the 2. Expedition changes when, or maybe you meant expectations changes when it comes from big publishers. I'm not sure what you meant by that. True. If you can explain.
That's probably true. Expectations do change.
Yeah. Danny Passion with a 5 says, a canceled game that no one has seen is like a dead person. It's great for everyone, no matter how bad it was. Anyway, Doom DLC is fire. That's what I'm hearing. People are loving the Doom DLC. That's awesome.
I can't wait.
Holly's going to be playing that as well. So let me go over just a few things that was in this article today. It says a PlayStation version of Gears of War E-Day was reportedly in development. We kind of knew about that. And retailers had even started preparing for pre-orders and stuff, and Xbox leadership changed direction. Schreier also reported that Halo trailer was intended for PlayStation at the event, and it was pulled from PlayStation. We knew about that as well. Internally, he said that many Xbox employees were surprised by the decisions because they expected Xbox to continue expanding onto PlayStation. So he's implying that there are games there that they are stopping from going to PlayStation. Now, again, that just sparks debate on what, or I really think it's going to come down to a kind of a situation like PlayStation, right? So they're saying they're only going to put multi-platform, big live service type games on PC. I think the same thing is going to go for Xbox going to PlayStation. I think their single player games are going to stay on Xbox. I think their single player IP will remain exclusive. That's my thoughts.
Matt Ball said it's a short-term hurt for a long-term solution.
Yep. I think
Fonz,
that's how you grow.
The big problem is the hardware, and we'll get into that. But go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. No. Talk about that, Hargeet. Let's talk about the hardware because this is the major hurdle.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to say you want to attract more people to your console. Great if your console is $200. When your console's minimum now is $500, that's what the Series S 512 is. Yikes. That's not as easy to sell to people, right? The $500 price point is for the early adopter. Usually you want something in the 300 range or 200 range to get the rest. Now, even with the craziness, we've still seen quite a bit of growth on the PlayStation side, getting it to 100, right? 100 million consoles sold. Granted, there was a time in between there where the console did have good sales, where it was in the 300 range, right? So you did get it, to drop down. So it was affordable enough. Xbox did the same in the beginning. It was able to sell at like under 200 for the Series S, and at like 300 something for the. I picked one up for 350 for the Series X. So it was discounted at some points. However, it's just not gotten to that level now, and it's just so exorbitantly expensive. I don't know how easy it's going to be to convince people to come over. Now, there are rake steps on the other side that are happening right now. Things like the all physical going away that they could take advantage of. But again, their cheaper box, the $500 box, doesn't come with a disk drive. So unless they're going to go make a disk drive accessory that'll work with the Series S, they're kind of in the same boat. You're asking for like, what is it, $800 now to get a Series X? That's a lot of money. And you're, if you're going into next gen next year, we just saw the Steam Machine, $1,050 for a box that's less powerful, maybe close to on par with the PS5. What's the PS6 going to look like? What's the Series, whatever Helix going to look? It's going to be so expensive. How much can they subsidize? Now, the economics do get better when they have a higher volume. There's also potential, if Microsoft were smart, to leverage their position as Microsoft and get some more leverage into those very expensive memory and storage and all that stuff, right? So they could still do a decent enough job to get these things to be sub $1,000. It is a possibility, but I'm saying sub.
Oh, there we go again.
That's unlikely. And that's problematic. Oh, did I freeze again?
Yeah, you're fine now. You're fine now.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So anyway, so sub $1,000. I'm not saying sub $500. So I don't know if there's any path for these to be cheaply bought. So it's great that they want to expand the platform, but how do you attract customers if your costs are so high to get in? Right. The point of consoles was to be cheap. I don't know that we're going to be there. And so that's a tough one. Right? So
it is.
Go to PC. PC is expensive too.
And PC's expensive too. Yeah, everything is.
Cloud,
Hargeet, your favorite. Cloud gaming.
It's there, by the way, but
I actually, the unpopular thought is I actually think that I think that we are, as a society, so conditioned to things just costing a lot of money these days that I don't know that there's really going to be that much. There's going to be people unhappy that things cost that much, but I honestly think that most people are just going to pay it and do the thing. I don't know. And of course there's going to be a lot of people staying on the current gen, and that's fine, right? I think that Xbox and PlayStation are both prepared for the fact that a lot of people are going to stay on this current gen. We have been so effed from COVID moving forward that like we should not be staying on these old gens as long as we are, but we have been for various reasons. Right now is AI. But like honestly, I think that we're all very, very understandably of the mind, like these costs are too much. People aren't going to buy these. I guarantee you way more people are going to buy consoles than you want to give them credit for. I really, really think that. And it's just because everything is so expensive now. Everything is so expensive. And it's not that you're not saying like people have to prioritize what they're going to spend their money on. Yeah. But like everything costs a lot. So when you decide, okay, I'm going to buy a console, it's just price as whatever, right? Like
no, but there will be people that won't be able to.
There will be,
you know, and it sucks. But I hear what you're saying. You're just saying for the most part, you think people are still going to go out there and buy consoles. Mm-hmm. Even the messed up part though is that Xbox, they're in a bigger, like a deeper situation than PlayStation because they need to grow. Yeah. And even if this generation goes forward to next generation, they still have to sell more consoles. Well, that's regardless if it's this generation consoles or next. PlayStation's already got a huge base going into next gen that will cross over. Yeah. So Asha's still got a tough task.
Unless you got discs, and unless you just say, you know what, we're going to tell everybody for the first year, we're going to subsidize the shit out of the console for the first year only. You know, and then maybe they bring it back casually. Plus they'll have the all access, which I know that's a whole nother thing. But like, but they'll have that in place. To make it not.
I don't know why that's a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing either. I think it's a good thing. I don't
like it.
And people are
doesn't
very.
Mean you have to employ it, but it's
true. Argue anybody look. People spend your money how you want
Klarna
to.
Now.
I don't
Klarna
like it.
Afterpay Affirm. Yeah. Everybody knows them. They're very comfortable.
The
with them.
NPL is very, very common these days. It's very common. Like you have your Best Buy card and your Amazon card. They do it all the time, right? It always have like 12 month, 18 month. Like it's so common.
Yep.
Yeah, but sometimes people get themselves, and I know it's a case by case thing. It's the individual that has to manage their money properly. But sometimes people they think, oh, I can spend $65 a month on a console, and then they do it, and then they can't afford it, and then they screw themselves. It's just that's the kind of thing I hate about it. But whatever, you know, do what you want. Like everybody's entitled to spend their money the way they want.
On a credit card. It's better than them putting it on a credit card.
It's better than the 30% interest that they could have. Like some people were telling me they have cards with like 34% interest. And I'm like, why do you even have that?
There are cards with over 100% interest.
No. Mm-hmm. What?
Is that like based on your credit or something? Maybe your credit.
Yeah, they're predatory. Okay. Yeah, they're predatory.
That is very predatory. Wow. Yeah, I don't like that.
A lot of them are tied to cash advance places and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people are going to end up doing that sort of thing and putting consoles on credit cards next generation, Holly. You're right. That's going to happen. That's going to be a thing. So it is what it is. Lotus says, I bought a Series S on all access plan. I like it. Lotus, I think you're being a troll right now, but if you did, cool.
All access also gave a discount for Game Pass and the console.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I actually used it to actually find one because at first it was hard to get. The inventory wasn't there, and they had more inventory for the all access. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just buy the all access and then pay it off, which is what I did. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I can pay this off. So I paid it off, and then I had a 2-year codes available for me for Game Pass, and I had a console. So it works. I mean, it's up to you, right? However you want to use it.
Yeah. We'll finish up here. I just want to get back to talking about the exclusives for a minute. I love the fact that they're doubling down on this. At least this is what Jason's alluding to with this article. And I want to see them money hat. I want to see them really compete, because I think that's the way, that's one of the ways you can bring people to your platform. And yes, even Game Pass, that's one way to grow it. You have to have that compelling content that is exclusive to that platform. I love it. I want more of it, but we got to see what happens going forward. I like what Asha's saying. I like what is happening, not necessarily the layoffs, but I like the messaging on focusing on a healthier Xbox to bring us better games. That's the best way to put it. Like, I just want what's best for us at the end of the day. And I think she's doing what needs to be done. This sounds great. I don't know. You guys finish out how you guys want to finish out, but I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the overall, I think this was much better than expected from my perspective. I thought they would shut down a lot of studios. I'm happy that none of them shut down, including Arcane, by the way, which is still in limbo. I still think they're not going to shut it down. And I also hope that they're true to their word and Blade will be finished and will come out. So We'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is probably the best overall thing you could have expected. There was going to be changes. We just knew that was going to happen. The focus has changed for what they want to do. That's what Asha's looking at. I think they're going to look for impact more than for just content. And that was kind of the opposite of what they were doing before, which is we just want content. We're not looking for metrics, right? We're not looking for sales. It's just make more stuff that can go into Game Pass. And here they're going to look for things that will make an actual material change to the sales numbers, or to the subs numbers, or to the engagement numbers for the platform, right? So they want to make that a bigger thing. I understand that, right? They tried the other way, it didn't work. It's time to try something different. Fair enough. Right. And, this could have been horrible if they shut down all those studios after telling them, go do the exact thing that you wanted them to do. They did it. And then it's their fault. It's like, cool. They didn't do that. They said, you can go back away, do whatever you want. And we'll still fund, by the way, the finishing of the games that we've announced with you. That's fantastic. I think that's as good as it can possibly be. Now, 100%. It sucks for all the rest of them. It sucks for all the rest of the people that are losing their jobs. However, having heard things like 14 layers of management, I'm sorry, that's just insanity. Yeah. And if you were there trying to promote that 14 layers of management, sorry, but that's just the way it's called. But it's like, no, you need to have a mindset that works against that. You should have been doing that to begin with. If you see that level of inefficiency, you should be pushing to fix it, get rid of it, and try to fix the structural issue there. And if you were the ones promoting that structural issue, you need to go, because if Asha fixes it once, that mindset will come back and say, no, well, you didn't get my approval. I don't care. Like, that needs to go. Yeah. People need to learn to give it up and say, all right, yes, you might have contributing elements. You can give your opinion. If they take it, they take it. The team that's got responsibility needs to just do what they need to get it done. Right. And that you need to change your mindset. I know it's hard to do. A lot of people have like an ownership feel for everything, but at some point you also just have to say, yeah, but they need to do what they need to do to get it done, and I can't be in their way. They need to get work out, just completed. And so I'm guessing there's a lot of that self-reflection and saying, yeah, well, that mindset, anybody who's got that and they can't change, bye. All right. And to your point, Holly, where you pointed out that somebody who made a little controversial statement is also gone. There might have been some of that too. It's like, if you've caused any level of harm to the sales of a game by nothing, nothing about the game itself,
should have been done at the beginning.
But by saying something dumb online, it's like, bro, bye. I don't care how much you believe in it, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you cause any friction for sales, engagement, you're causing a problem for the whole system. It's got to stop. And that the clearest message is bye-bye. Don't do it.
And that's just good business. That's what happens in regular business. It has nothing to do with even politics or anything like that. If you affect the business, if you affect the monetary gain by the business, that's a problem. Period. Full stop. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. This has been an awesome show. Honestly, lots of good takes from both of you, like amazing stuff, guys. Like this was a fun show. Had a lot to get through, and we got through it. It's almost 3 hours. Crazy, but it flew by because we were having so much fun talking about this stuff, and everybody was having a blast in the chat. People this was good. This was a really good show. So I appreciate everybody for watching. Hargeet, actually, Holly, let everybody know where they can find you and what you're going to be up to next, because you are playing GTA 5.
I am playing GTA 5. Yes. So I've played it twice. So if you want to go watch those, I am the world's worst video game driver and also airplane pilot. So you'll have a very good time laughing at me being totally ridiculous in that. But I am going to continue that very, very soon. And then I am going to start making consistent content, just like our boy here, Fonz, who's been killing it with getting videos out. He's doing such a good job. So definitely go give him all of your watches and likes and all of that stuff. But
thank you. And yeah, I want you to make content too now. Like you need to start doing your content.
I need to I want to curate everything. I want to edit all this stuff and just, I mean, I'm single. I have a house. I have a full-time job, and it's just really, really, and I'm not editing savvy. I'm a newbie at all this stuff. So it takes me forever. So I just need to find a way to simplify things. And anyway, so thank you. This was a great show. Like I had a really good time. It was super interesting. I really appreciate chat. And thank you guys for having me again. I love coming on here and talking to you guys. So thank you.
Well, we loved having you. Thank you very much. And we will definitely be talking soon. Really quickly, Danny Pasture with the 2 says, Fonz, you talk directly to me now. I don't know what he means by that, but okay. Hargeet, where can they find? Oh yeah, we didn't get this one. God Emperor Sofa King says Coco the Chameleon outdid anything Compulsion and Ninja Theory put out at the fraction of the price. Them Studios was cooked. Same with Double Fine. I'm going to have to agree with you. Because you ain't lying. They really didn't cook with those games. They weren't selling. A lot of people liked them, don't get me wrong, but not enough did to buy them. Hargeet, where can people find you, my friend?
Yeah, so you can find me on my channel, it's Hargeet21 on YouTube, shop.china.us if you want to pick up my stuff, and then I'll be on hopefully with Boom tomorrow at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time. And then am I on this weekend? I think we are on this weekend for On Point for Gamers, unless something comes up at Friday at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, and with Web Dave on Sunday at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time. Check those out. We'll be on next week. See what the heck else is going on. What's changed? Who's dying?
And don't forget, Sony's removing physical games, people. They're stopping physical games. They're killing it. They're killing it for the industry. They're the market leader. They're the problem right now. Remember that. They're the problem. With that said, I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, whether you're here right now or after the fact. I appreciate all of you. Also, I am making videos every Monday and Thursday now. So I've been putting it out. So I've been, putting videos out there. I know some of you are like, I didn't get notification. I didn't see you put out a video and I looked at my analytics, and do you know, Hargeet, 76% of all my views on my recent videos are from outside my subscription base. So it's new people.
Nice.
So it's great to get new people watching, but it also sucks because my subscription base isn't seeing them. And I don't know why. But anyways, look out for that every Monday and Thursday. I will have videos out. And also this podcast, of course, every Tuesday. And then I'm on the Friendly Fire podcast with Gaz and Zocker over on Gaz's channel on Septic Sauce on Saturdays. You can see me there. And with that said, everybody have a great freaking night and game on.